Alrighty, folks, welcome on into the currently unbanned Central Committee stream with your host Mike from PA. We are live. Unfortunately, I decided to unpublish all my VODs last night. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Sure, bud, you helped Trump win. Sure. If you want to say I defeated the Democrats, here's my message to you. I agree. Hassan voted for Kamala Harris on his stream. I said Kamala Harris is a genocider and not to vote for her. I did it. Now you have two choices. I'm going to do it again to Gavin Newsom. All right. So here's your dilemma. Either you do exactly what I say, or I'm going to do it again. And 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 I'm going to do it again. But I'm willing to vote for Democrats. I'm willing to advocate for Democrats. I'm willing to max out to Democratic candidates. But they got to do some things for me. All right. You ready for what they need to do? Stop supporting ICE. Stop supporting Israel. Stand for Americans. No more wars. Support public transit, high-speed rail, free college, and universal health care through Medicare for all. And here's my biggest ask. Invest in green energy and get the homeless off the streets and into homes. Oh my God! Whoa, he's so fucking evil! Oh God! And if you don't do those things, I'm going to keep stopping you from winning because I have that power. It was me. Hassan voted for her. I didn't. Let's be completely honest for why Hassan was banned. All right. Hassan was banned for criticizing ICE. Let's be clear about that. The other thing I want to be clear about before we go on, and I'm not going to really tolerate it, is don't break the rules. Don't break the rules in the chat. You are actually doing exactly what they want you to do. You're doing exactly what they want you to do. I want you to peepo smile. We know what it means. We all know what it means. They don't. We are using their tools against them. That's why they're banning. Like, the reason why they're going after Hassan is because of how powerful we are. And they're scared. That's why they bought TikTok. But here's the thing. We'll just move. We'll get around it. Just realize that. And the other thing is, Hassan's gonna chat. I don't know about if you know this. Hassan's probably gonna be unbanned by Monday. Hassan's probably gonna be unbanned by Monday. They're gonna give him. It's like when they banned me. It's like when they banned me for quote threatening, for making a joke that implied a threat. They gave me a 7-day ban, and then they gave me a program where I had to take a quiz. If I got the quiz right, it had 10 questions. They immediately lifted my ban. So Hassan will basically miss 1 day of streaming because he takes Sundays off quite often. So this is just I mean, personally, I think it's dumb as fuck. I think it's dumb as fuck, but we have to be smarter than that. It is directly in the rules. You can't do that. I think it's absurd. The optics of banning Hassan the same time. I mean, I don't know how Lakari could ever be unbanned. I don't know how Lakari could ever be unbanned. He's a fucking, he's leaked child porn links and like what? Can we view the clip he was banned for? It's probably not a good idea to do that in the immediate short term. Twitch thinks they're reading the room by copying TikTok. No, this is a rule that's been in place for a while, chat. You're not allowed to say Zionist name of animal. It's just literally it's been a rule since they banned Frogan and her panel. Like it's not. Also, Hassan, listen, I don't mind it, but I do think it is a little bit funny. I said, okay, hold on. Let's look at this. Hold on. Tectone cried about me in court, by the way. Tectone cried about me. Oh, here I said, that TOS is dumb as fuck. I could say Democrat pig or Republican pig. Hell, I could say American pig, but I'm not allowed to say Zionist. That's insane. Now, I want you to understand that is, in my opinion, more damaging to Jewish people than actually censoring it. And I think this is why it's important to understand that the movement of Zionism is a movement of fascism, because they think banning people for saying this is going to make people intimidated, and it will not. It's the brain of a fascist where they're like, oh, we're just going to make rules, and if you break the rules, it's going to make you like us. People do not like that. It does not work. And the reason why they're saying you can't criticize, you can't say Zionist and then name of animal, is because that's anti-Semitic. Now, I know a lot of people that are Zionists who are not Jewish. So how the fuck can it be anti-Semitic to say Zionist name of animal? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You're not allowed to, like, I also don't get it. Are you not allowed to say, like, Zionist tiger? Is that a bannable offense? Like, I legitimately don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense to me. Isn't Asmongold calling Somalis parasites every single day? Well, you're allowed to say, as far as I understand, you're allowed to say British, you're allowed to say liberal pig, you're allowed to say communist pig, you're allowed to say nationalist pig, you're allowed, like, I think you're allowed to say Islamist pig. Anyway, okay, why did I say this? So Hassan says you could say Nazi pig on Twitch, you could say Democrat pig, you could say Republican pig, you could say Islamist pig. You cannot say Zionist. The ADL, which is an arm of Israel suppression in the West that works with law enforcement and does espionage, has made it a bannable offense. And like, he yoinked my argument. But hey, our argument. They want people to become Nazis and fascists. Fascists are Israel's biggest supporters. Oh, I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, Nick Fuentes supports Netanyahu. I mean, there's really no, like, the only reason Nick Fuentes even pretends to be against Israel is because normal people look at what Israel's doing and they're disgusted. And the only people that were fighting against it were the left. So, like most fascists, they just opportunistically tried to grab onto that successful messaging and convert it to their own. But they don't actually oppose Israel. They just want to do what Israel's doing in America. That's it. They really don't. The only the thing about fascists is they kill other fascists. And the reason why is, like, a white fascist will say whites are the superior race. A Japanese fascist will say Japanese people are the superior race. Well, if you have two supremacist ideologies, they'll fight. So there is no solidarity there. He's banned for 3 days. They reduced it already. I got banned on Twitch for 7 days, 3 with an appeal, because of the ADL doesn't like that I was covering DHS's new surveillance list of domestic terrorists, which entail anti-ICE and pro-Palestine activists. I will be live here tomorrow at 11 a.m. PST for my regular broadcast and will cover the ICE out of LA protests. I will not be deterred, and neither should you. F ICE, F Israel. I mean, obviously, like, here's the thing. The ADL doesn't think of the right as a threat. They're not, because they're not a threat. Nick Fuentes supports what Donald Trump does as an imperialist. Israel is an important part of America's imperialist structure. So, of course, Nick Fuentes pretending to be anti-Israel is not real. You understand that? Like, of course it's not real. How could it be anti-Semitic when most Zionists are Christian? Yes, good question. Twitch updated their hateful conduct policy because of me. The funniest thing about this is, like, ultimately, this doesn't even matter. One of the things that's really funny about this is, obviously, Twitch is stupid. Like, I want you to understand this. Twitch's CEO and Twitch's staff, they're stupid. They're stupid. The reason why they're stupid is they fell for this. This had absolutely no motion. This had absolutely no motion. And I think they were trying to distract from the fact they didn't ban Lakari, fucking pedophile who leaked child porn links for, they didn't permaban him. And they have not banned Tectone, who is another one of their big streamers who openly bots and has been adjudicated a sexual assaulter and stalker. So to distract from that, they're banning Hassan for only a couple days because, again, they're trying to distract from their own failure to moderate their platform from Nazis, pedophiles. I mean, it's absolutely fucking pathetic. And, like, as I've said before, I know why Twitch is being cowardly. Twitch is being cowardly because Donald Trump is president and the Republicans control the House and the Senate. And they're trying to stay under the radar. And I understand that. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they just go, hey, listen, we're not moderating anything. You know what? I'll take it because the left will be more popular, right? Like, I'd rather take that than them trying to moderate both us, the right and the left. Okay, that's my personal take. But when they let themselves get psyoped by a Dan Saltzman tweet that has 2,000 likes with bots, I mean, that's just pathetic. I mean, if we look at my posts, I mean, like, it's 2,000 likes is absolutely nothing. Here's me making fun of Tectone, 1.4K. Like, me saying this is cool, 400. Like, it literally is for that. Here's me 5K likes. So I got more than double the likes of the post that got Hassan banned. Like, what are they doing? He contacted the ADL and the ADL contacted Twitch. He wrote an email and that's it. Well, yeah, no shit. Of course it's the ADL. Of course it's the ADL. Now, here's what I think you should do. I don't think, I personally kind of think it's weird. Dan Saltzman is mentally ill. Now, his wife, as far as I know, is a psychiatrist. And I think it's kind of an ethical failure to have your husband going around and like stalking people and harassing them. Don't you guys think that's an ethical failure? Like, doesn't she have an obligation, both ethically and personally, to get her husband either committed or into some sort of psychiatric treatment? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's not ethical, but it certainly feels like it's immoral. And I would want to ask her about it personally. Like, if I ever come across her, I'm going to have a lot of conversations with her. I'd be like, hey, so are you aware that your husband is a stalker and a freak? I think that's a question that should be asked because it's fucking weird. Did David Pacman defend Hassan about this ban? I wonder. Let me just take a look. David Pacman. You know, I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing him posting a 2-like tweet. 23 likes. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. The worst part about this is these guys are getting pumped with millions of dollars, dude. Hey, he just posted about Don Lemon. He did post about Don Lemon. I'm not seeing anything about Hassan being banned. Well, everybody, hey, everybody, you should hop in and ask David Pacman what he thinks. Everybody, make sure you're adding David Pacman and let him know. Ask him this question. Ask him this question because I didn't see him posting anything. Meanwhile, Kyle Kalinske. Yes, Kyle Kalinske. The UK Greens now show second place nationally. Wow. I think Jeremy Corbyn and your party should just give up and join the Greens. It really doesn't make any sense to not. It's a kind of embarrassing that they're not. And the only reason I like these Greens is because they're not like normal Green Party members. They have an eco-socialist leader. Now, I don't agree with him on every position, but I'm easy to please. Luigi is not getting federal work. Okay, you sent me a link and it doesn't work. You're spamming a link and it doesn't fucking work. Like, why do people do shit like this? Wait, Tectone worked with Ethan's lawyer? Tectone also mentioned me in the case. Fucking own them. We own them. We fucking own them. They can only run to the referees. JC is very disappointing on this. He says the Greens are not socialist because he wants to be the leader, man. Ethan agrees with Nazis. Ethan Klein shared self-admitted Nazi Nick Fuentes post claiming Hassan's ban was Jewish censorship and agreed with him. This kind of anti-Semitic bile has no place in this world, especially not on Instagram or YouTube. Okay, I want to explain something to you guys. Obviously, pointing out this hypocrisy is important. It is important. And you should never become a not surprised guy. God damn it, my nose. Dude. Dry ass fucking air. Never become a not surprised guy or never become a, oh, you didn't know that yet guy. I try not to be that. These rules do not exist to be used against Zionists. You know what I mean? Like, yes. Ethan Klein is breaking all the rules. They don't care. He's a Zionist. He has special permission to break all the rules. Have you not seen what Israel's doing in Gaza? You don't think they're breaking every rule of law? That's because there is a conspiracy to control our society. And I know people think it's about Israel. It's not about Israel. Israel is a tool of the conspiracy. The conspiracy is the capitalist class is saying they're done with this whole democracy thing. They're done with going through the rigmarole of having to, you know, worry about some election happening and maybe them having to pay more taxes or something, or having to clean up some environment or protect some endangered species. They're dispensing with democracy and they're trying to assert techno-monarchism. And they're using the dumb fascists to do it as foot soldiers. He knows niche, and he's grateful you have said it so he doesn't have to. It's really a beautiful symbiotic relationship you to have. Inspiring. Now, I think one of the things that's really important to understand is Nick Fuentes is closer to power than we are. And it's not even a debate. All right? Like, Nick Fuentes is closer to power than we are. And it's not even a debate. I think one of the things that kind of happens in liberal and leftist spaces, just because somebody is popular online, you guys suddenly think that we have power or something. We don't. Okay? We do not have power. Nick Fuentes visited Trump in Mar-a-Lago in 2022. Every single young Republican sounds like Nick Fuentes in their DMs and in their private chats. Nick Fuentes has a lot of supporters in power at the highest levels. But yet, Ethan Klein is fixated on Hassan. He also clipped his... and I got to be honest with you, chat. Like, I don't know about you. We've got to escalate our resistance to these people. We've got to escalate our resistance to these people. My bad. I think Twitter was not working. Does this work? Luigi Mangione will not face the death penalty. Judge rules. Pardon Luigi Mangione. I feel like he's being railroaded. I don't believe he could get a fair trial. Pardon Luigi Mangione. If the government was honest about how they found him, like they were using like mass surveillance technology and violating all of our rights, I might believe that he would, and they could like prove that they tracked his phone all the way from Manhattan to wherever, and then they used facial recognition at the McDonald's, you know, kiosks, then I might believe the story. But the fact that they're like, oh yeah, we just had a bunch of cops respond to a random anonymous tip in Pennsylvania, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I literally do not believe it. So it makes me feel like he's a patsy. Legal Mindset talks about it, gets hate for remaining impartial. He's not impartial. He's literally works for the same company as Tectone. You are a fucking moron. I think we should apply the same tactics that Clyde, Saltzman, and Roachman and other slop tubers apply against the law. Writing to their sponsors should be off the table. What? I think that every single thing that Destiny or Dan Saltzman say or Ethan Klein say about me or Hassan, you should immediately apply to them. Immediately apply to them. And you should begin immediately. As soon as whatever they say, some unhinged shit, you should do whatever they say, but to them. Now, I'm not calling on you to do anything. If they say nothing weird, then nothing weird's going to happen. It's not a secret. It's at all in the open that billionaires are coordinating all-out assault on not only social media, but also on traditional media with the clear goal of suppressing and censoring anything critical of Israel, the Trump regime, U.S. foreign policy, and even Epstein. These are the real free speech press issues and not someone being annoying on Twitter. I could not agree more. And the problem is that, quite frankly, we're not militant enough. We don't have any left-wing militants. And so the right and the billionaires are running roughshod over you. And that's the reality. That's the fucking reality. I don't know how to fix it. I really don't. I don't know how to fix it. I mean, I could try, but I would probably be stopped, you know, because there's just, I don't have a good source of vetted individuals. And there is just so much censorship and monitoring going on. Like, even though I'm aware of it, I don't know that I have the methods to counter it.
Theory is a term that's used whenever anybody ascribes conscious intent to people with power. So I can say to you that school teachers are concerned about their salaries and they're organizing and they're threatening a strike and they're pressuring. I can say to you that farmers are doing this and looking for subsidies and facing certain policies. But the minute I say to you that the very people at the top, the plutocracy, the very rich and powerful, the ones who own most of America, that they are consciously pursuing power and wealth, someone will come along and say, what do you have, a conspiracy theory? Or they'll say, oh, you're cynical or you're paranoid. Their view is that stuff just happens. Things just happen, unintended consequences, or our leaders are stupid and they're jerks, or they're confused and they don't know any better. And of course, the critic knows much better than everybody else. People who operate in this world operate with intent. There's no such thing as imperialism without imperialists. There's no such thing as capitalism without capitalists. There's no such thing as rulers who are somnambulists who walk around in their sleep. You watch out for your interests. You watch out and you make calculations. What makes you think that David Rockefeller doesn't? What makes you think that the people at the top don't do it? And what makes you think they don't collude and organize? Or what do you think? You have a group of people who sit around in a room and they plan this? And I always say, oh no, God, they don't sit around in a room. They meet on carousels and they go up and down merry-go-rounds, or they meet skydiving and they hold hands and they argue. Of course they sit in rooms. Where the hell else are they going to meet?
And Michael Parenti is right. Michael Parenti is completely right. In fact, I mean, it's not even, by the way, I don't know. There is, I don't know what else to say. It's all out in the open. I mean, Hillary Clinton was just saying it to a bunch of Zionists at a meeting openly and was just recorded. Like it's not even, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. Like, she just said it like 2 days ago.
Students, smart, well-educated young people from our own country, from around the world, where were they getting their information? They were getting their information from social media, particularly TikTok. That is where they were learning about what happened on October 7th, what happened in the days, weeks, and months to follow. That's a serious problem. It's a serious problem for democracy, whether it's Israel or the United States, and it's a serious problem for our young people. It's not just the usual suspects. It is a lot of young Jewish Americans who don't know the history and don't understand. When you would try to talk to them to engage in some kind of
the thing about people like Hillary Clinton and the supporters of the Zionist project in general is that they are actually evil. Like, I think you need to understand this. They are evil, and they believe that some people should have more rights than other people. And they think you're an asshole for saying you don't agree with that. That's literally it. Why am I streaming today? Because I'm a news source, an organizing source. I help promote the ideas of the national work. Like, are you stupid? Are you actually a fucking moron? Like, this is one of those things that people try to say. Listen here. If you try to say that the people covering a movement should stop covering the movement, you're going to be permanently banned. You are stupid. You're too stupid. Shut your fucking mouth. Stop talking. You're stupid. And by the way, this stream is becoming a no tolerant for the annoying. If you're annoying, you will be banned. If you're annoying, you will be banned. That is the rule of this stream. If you're stupid, you get one time I tell you you're stupid. If you're annoying, you're banned. That's my rules. That's actually what my rules are. You stole that from Denims? Listen, I love Denims, but come on, guys. I've been talking about the tyranny of the annoying for 9 years. All right, let's keep going.
Reasonable discussion. It was very difficult because they did not know history. They had very little context. And what they were being told on social media was not just one-sided, it was pure propaganda. More than 50% of young people in America get their news from social media.
Here's the thing about this. When somebody says they want to control what you can see or can't see, they see themselves your master. And I don't know about you, chat, but if somebody thinks themselves my master, I'm going to destroy that person and free myself. Like, that's just the way it goes. Like, if you try to assert yourself as my master, I will destroy you. Like, try it. Fucking try it. Well, chat, if you want to feel really good, just know that Donald Trump is destroying the petrodollar. Donald Trump is destroying the petrodollar, and the American global hegemony is going to fail. It's the empire is cooked. For the first time since 1996, central banks hold more gold than they do U.S. treasuries. Professor Richard Wolff said USSR's decline left U.S. empire to reach its peak. World central banks exchange gold for U.S. dollar treasuries. As U.S. empire goes to decline after 2000 and China rises, those banks shift back from U.S. treasuries to gold. And in fact, if you look at the spot price for precious metals, they're more expensive in Shanghai, which to me indicates that the Chinese are buying it up, and they're over. What's the word I'm looking for? Their local purchasing is overwhelming the ability to import the metals. There's now an arbitrage opportunity if you buy gold in America or Europe to ship it to China and make a profit. Yes, I did. And the price of silver has taken a big crash. Now this is a crash. Now I think the reason why it's crashing is we're nearing the ends of like a future contract, and a lot of banks are exposed at above like the $92 level is what I heard. So they're selling off a lot of paper silver to try to like push down the prices to not make a bunch of banks insolvent. Not looking good, folks. People are okay. Interesting. Wasn't it 99 a week ago? Yeah. What's the Shanghai spot? Shanghai silver spot. Not kilogram. I need it in ounces. Why the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. Why are they doing it in kilograms? Is there a place where I can like look at this easily? Thank you. Okay, so the Shanghai spot has also taken a bit of a dip. So right now there's a $23 an ounce premium for silver in Shanghai. So you can literally buy silver in America, fly to Shanghai, and make 23% from that action. That's fucking insane. Now, like what? 23% premium in the 21st century based on geographic location? That's batshit fucking crazy. Not this stupid US unit. What fuck is an ounce? These motherfuckers don't know what ounce. They don't know what a troy ounce is. By the way, a troy ounce is not an ounce. Motherfuckers don't know that there's even more imperial units. Next, they're gonna find out that a nautical mile isn't the same as a mile. They're gonna wait till these Europeans find out the difference between miles per hour and knots per hour, or knots are really nautical miles per hour, but they don't know there's even more imperial measurements. They don't know. Nautical mile is on water. No, it's actually also on air. Aren't knots actually useful though? I forget why. Yes, because miles are arbitrary. But a nautical mile is the distance between 1 second of longitude at the equator. Latitude? No, longitude. Longitude goes up and down. So when you go from one to another, that's a second of longitude difference. The problem with the nautical mile is we don't spend a lot of time on the equator usually. So aren't you a pilot? Yeah. Every unit is arbitrary. Well, yeah, it's arbitrary, but it's based off of like, you know, the Earth, as opposed to like, I'm going to have my king walk a lot of steps and then go, well, that's 1 mile. My king's foot is this long, so that's a foot. As you know, I tend to think the equator of the Earth tends to make more of a sense if you're going to divide things up. My European mind can't comprehend this. You know what I really need to learn how to fly, chat? Helicopters. That's what I really need to learn to fly. People are like, no, Mike, it's dangerous. No shit, it's dangerous. If you have any idea what I plan to do with my life, flying a helicopter is the safest part. It's the safest idea. What I need to learn how to do is also parachute. What plane do you fly? I have flown a number of gliders. I've flown the Piper Archer, which is my favorite light aircraft. I've flown a Sirius. I've flown, obviously, Cessnas, 152, 172s. But the Piper Archer is my favorite light aircraft because I like the low wing style of plane because it actually feels like a real plane. I don't like high wing light aircraft. This is what I'm talking about here. They're a little nice guy. Am I able to fly at F-16? I mean, I could if I got the training. It's not, I just don't know how to run a turbine engine, and I would probably need to get used to the speed. It would, you know, I'd have to fly it for a couple 100 hours, but I'm sure I could fly one. I believe I have the stick and rudder ability to learn a jet. It would take like 6 months, but I think I could do it. Do you think we'll see a balkanization of the US? I don't think the United States, I mean, I don't know. I'll be completely honest with you, chat. See, by the way, chat, it goes 128 ktas. That's a knot because we don't use miles per hour. We use knots. Yes, this is considered to be a relatively, I mean, this is relatively fast for a single, it only has a 180 horsepower engine. So a cruise speed of 128 knots is pretty nice. And 522 nautical mile range, that's pretty nice for a light single engine. Like, I like the Archer, personally. I'm an Archer enjoyer. But they are, you know, they're not a complex aircraft. They're not a high performance aircraft. It's very easy. They have a fixed pitch prop. All these things, you don't know what that means, and it's fine. Is it hard to land a low wing? No. Not in my opinion, but they're going to make an electric version, except it'll probably cost $1 million. It'll probably cost $1 million. Even though, like, if China, seriously, if China did a bunch of, like, really nice electric light aircraft, I would buy one. I would buy one if they were, like, the price of a luxury car. Why do small planes crash all the time? Because flying is extremely difficult. That's the answer. If you make a mistake in a car, you bend the fender. You make a mistake in a plane, you turn into a smoking crater. Also, single engines lack redundancy, so a failure is more critical. Light aircraft are dangerous because of a variety of reasons. They also tend to have less experienced pilots. When you are flying, like if you go onto an airliner You've got two extremely experienced pilots who have been trained and passed many flight tests. And you have a lot of procedures, and you have third parties checking on maintenance, and you have multiple eyes on the same plane to make sure things are all working. They're extremely trained in like emergency procedures. They have extremely coordinated paths they travel through the air, and a modern airliner has tens of millions of dollars dedicated to safety, whereas this shit does not. Mike, am I instrument rated? No. It's embarrassing, but no. I know how to do it. I just haven't done the rating. My brother is almost done with his pilot's license. He bought a plane and found out it could only hold one person. Huh? Which plane is he flying? Even a 152 can carry two people, unless your brother's really big. Is your brother kind of chunky? He's tall and maybe like 180. Personally, I don't like 152s. I'd have to check. I don't know what, depends on like amount of fuel you put in. You should be able to have two people in there if he weighs 180. Unless you're talking about some sort of like really small, light or sport. Anyway, why am I talking about planes? This is just my hyperfixation. Hassan being banned by Twitch is one of those situations where not only is it bullshit from the point of view of censorship, it's also just embarrassing because it shows you how incompetent Twitch's staff are. All they've done now is they've created an incentive for more and more people to harass their sponsors. This is what they don't seem to get. If they just hunkered down and ignored it, then people get bored because it doesn't seem to work. But right when everybody's kind of like, well, I guess this doesn't work, they ban someone to incentivize harassing sponsors again. It's like they're actually stupid. They're outsourcing moderation to stalker discords. Well, they create a culture on Twitch where it's like, I want you to have the most unhinged parasocial fans, scouring, streams for micro violations of the TOS and then spam reporting it as if that is good for Twitch. This actual fucking rapist isn't banned. This actual rapist. It's gonna be hard to rape women without a gun to threaten them with. Mike, they released a analysis of the commercial jet helicopter midair in DC recently, feed by airplane autism. Bro, I don't want to look at that. I do look at accident reports, but it's not something it's not a fun thing. It's more of like, you should look at this so you're aware of this as a possible problem and so that you could try to avoid it in the future. But it's not a fun task. It's very sad. Like that midair in DC is fucking absurd, and it pisses me off every time I think about it.
Guys, what even happened? This guy says this. Reported clip from today. Doesn't clear than this.
By the way, 2K likes. 2K likes. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody cared. This wasn't getting any traction at all. What are you doing? 94 replies, 2,000 likes. I get more than 2,000 likes on multiple posts a day. This has absolutely no motion. Nobody gives a fuck.
Clear than this. Prohibited example. Huh? That's not what got banned then. That's something else. What?
Preddy was wearing on the day he was.
Israel censorship regime. DHS has list of American.
All right. Okay, your account is a couple years old, so we get to look into who you are. All right. Sniping and no sniping TTT. So obviously this guy wants to be a streamer, so he's going to have a couple videos, right? No videos? No clips? Why do you have TTV in your name? Did you never get over the anxiety? Did you never post? He wants my attention, so let's give it to him. Sniping, no sniping. Go ahead and let's search that on the internet. See if we can find more of his accounts. Sniping, no sniping. Nothing? I guess he made the account and gave up. Are you a Zionist yourself, Sniper? Do you support Israel? Are you a fan of Israel? Are you a fan of Israel? Sniper, no sniping. TTV. Then wait, why are you supporting it then? Why do you support Israel being able to censor us for criticizing Israel? You said it's accountable for criticizing Israel, censoring us. So, but you support that? So you do support Israel. Why are you such a pussy? Why are you such a pussy that you like support Israel and then when you're asked about it, say no? By the way, I made Asmongold snivelingly apologize to me. How does that make you feel? Here, hold on. Check this out. He had to snivelingly apologize. You know what I'm not going to do? Look at this. He even promised to clean his room.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch and also what my plans are going forward. I'm going to try and structure this video into 2 parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension, second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off.
Here's what I want you to know, that your goat is a sniveling little bitch and we made him apologize. I got him banned, by the way. That was me. I got him banned for the genocide thing. That was me. And then he came on here, and instead of saying, I doubled down, he pussed out and he apologized and promised to clean his room. Don't worry, I'm going to make him do a lot more than just clean his room going forward. Don't worry. Don't worry. I invited him to visit LA, but he doesn't come out. Why doesn't he come out? Come out to LA, man. Looks like Don Lemon was arrested. Yeah, it's in my title. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that. You can ban that guy now. He's boring. He's too much of a pussy to say that he supports Israel. I guess in his mind, he thinks that supporting Israel dominating our platform and making it illegal to criticize is somehow a sign that he doesn't support Israel. He's like, listen, I don't support Israel, but I do support Israel dominating us. Anyway, okay.
They surveil on the basis of their...
Killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
I don't get it.
What's more likely is that they filmed his fucking face and they put him on a watch list. As Ken Klippenstein reports in his exclusive, Sparta, Reaper, and Grapevine
Twitter's banned him for his comments on ICE tracking. Wait, do we even know this though? Do they even know what the thing that they got?
protesters and their friends, plus others. ICE's secret watch list of Americans. We have a nice little database.
We don't even know why.
Considered a domestic terrorist. A masked federal agent taunted a protester filming him in Maine last week, if you recall. Remember this video? We've covered videos like this on numerous...
Can you read it? Watch this. Is clip for that? This is not like
I mean, the clip is only 2 minutes long, and they're so frightened to watch the 2-minute clip without pausing and being incoherent. That's really incredible. Our opponents.
You wouldn't know, so how am I supposed to know? I can watch somebody else doing something. You retweet it? I don't care. I mean...
Dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there, you fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. You fucking run around going, oh my God, Israel first, Israel first. Why are you tying this back to Palestine? Because this is precisely the fucking same shit, okay? You Israel first monsters, dude. Jesus fucking Christ.
Wait, is that the one? We prohibit the use terms that may not be harmful or abusive in isolation. You use it as a slur or to others.
What protective group? He didn't even violate TOS. What protective group did he use? What was the protected group? He didn't even violate TOS. He didn't use it as a proxy for Jews or Israelis. He used it for people supporting Israel in America and wanting to censor people criticizing Israel. He didn't use it. What? Like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just so disgusting, man. I don't know what else to say. Like, they didn't even get him for doing the thing they're claiming he did.
In certain contexts, similar to other terms that may be used as a proxy for a protected group, which is designed as a proxy for Jews or Israelis if the word is used to promote harm or violence. They have to promote harm or violence, or when used to make the comparison and doesn't make stereotypes. Comments running political movement. Prohibited example: Zionist name of animal.
I've been watching
as a
for
proxy,
over 5 years,
right?
And you still can't read
He
it.
wasn't using it as a proxy for Jews. Like, is he illiterate? I mean, obviously he's fucking illiterate. Obviously there's fucking illiterate. In fact, you know who else is illiterate? The Twitch terms of service enforcers. And this is why terms of service are actually bad in general when there is no democratic accountability. Twitch is no longer just like some cute little place where we stream and it was a small website. It's now a utility. Social media is a utility. And Twitch being the fucking like judge, jury, and executioner of what can and cannot be said with no democratic input is absolutely fucking fascistic. Who elected Twitch king of what we can and cannot say? He may be able to make the noises that the letters put in front of him. Mike, you have a hair on your mic? All right, hold on. Oh yeah, one of my hairs. Sorry about that. The hair is, it's staticky. Okay, that should have fixed it. Anyway, he may be able to make the sounds the letters call for, but he doesn't know how to comprehend. Oops, still there. Oh, okay, I see. There's like one weird hair on the complete other side. There, I got it. It is absolutely hilarious. He can't comprehend what the words mean. Was Zionist being used as a proxy for a protected group? Yes or no?
QCL.
Numerous occasions on this broadcast where ICE agents will walk up to counter protesters, will walk up to protesters and film them in their faces and go, smile, you're on fucking camera, you're on a watch list now. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin's response was firm. There is no database of domestic terrorists run by ICE. There's just one problem. She's lying.
Yeah, but Hassan has the actual clip. They should give him a clip, though, on his emails of what exactly got him banned. I feel like, why is he retweeting somebody else saying what he got banned for? He knows it. So why does he just address it? Because if he's quoting something... Oh, because he was talking to chat. That's why.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to
This is just called giving 2 minutes of context. Can you just watch it, you dumb fuck?
Preddy was wearing on the day.
Marco, as a viewer, you and others like Hasanabi on Twitch have been educational, leading to a pathway to a decent society. Yes, that's why they target me. That's why I get harassed with lies constantly. That's what Hassan gets harassed with lies constantly, because we are teaching you how to fight back. We're teaching you who to support. That's actually a legitimate politician who isn't a scumbag. Look at Zohran Mamdani. How successful has Zohran Mamdani been as New York City mayor? He's our guy. He's a sewer socialist. I was talking about sewer socialism 5 years ago. Now he's in power. How's it going? It's going fucking great. Who do these fuckers support? Donald Trump? How's that going?
He was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
What's more likely is that they filmed his fucking face and they put him on a watch list. As Ken Klippenstein reports in his exclusive, Sparta, Reaper, and Grapevine track protesters and their friends, plus others, ICE's secret watch list of Americans.
What?
You have a nice little database, and now you're considered a domestic terrorist. A masked federal agent taunted a protester filming him in Maine.
Yo, this is a highly speculative, no?
Last week, if you recall.
It's highly... Does he know what speculative means? Does he know what speculative means? Like, he's using a word. Do you know what speculative means? This is called... reporting, you illiterate fucking worm. Is this on banned? Currently banned, yes.
No, that doesn't make sense.
But he's gonna be streaming on his YouTube, and we're going to you know, watch that. Honestly, I need to go down to that event that's happening in LA.
They know people.
Remember this video?
All right, somebody just said Destiny, Dan, and Ethan get on Zoom together and jerk off to Lolly. Okay, that's called speculative. All right, that's speculative. All right, we don't have any evidence of that, right? That would be speculative. Okay, like I wouldn't say that we know that to be true. That's speculative. But if you look at them, if you look at them, they've done a lot of really sus shit in the past. So I understand why somebody might imagine that. For example, Destiny, you know, sharing revenge porn or being sexually interested in somebody who turned out to be underage. And having their porn on his computer and saving it even after he knew they were underage when it was filmed. That's fucking creepy. The way that Ethan Clyde falsely accused some innocent man of being a pedophile because he helped people make music videos professionally. So they accused him of being a pedophile in the most disgusting, over-the-top way. It got him harassed so much he decided to quit making music. His name is Pedo Troll on Reddit, where he would post weird sexually explicit or otherwise disturbing stories about like murdering his children and things like that. Like the guy named himself a pedo. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. If you've ever named yourself pedophile for any reason, even though you claim that it may be some sort of like troll, you're fucking weird. You're permanently weird and you're suspect, and all of your computers should be searched immediately. Honestly, your internet should be monitored for the rest of your life. You should have no privacy. If you ever name yourself pedo anything. He sexually objectified the minor victim of the Boston Marathon bombing while dropping the N-word. Yeah, so as I said before, we don't know that they get together and jerk off of, you know, Lolly or whatever. That would be speculative. I don't like when people just post speculative shit like that into my chat, so don't do that.
We've
Track
covered videos
people?
like this on numerous occasions.
Oh, Turkey Tom just got exposed as a sex pest? Who would make a lol? Oh, he was Destiny's friend? Is another one of those anti-Hassan, anti-Mike flop tubers. Did he make an anti-Mike video? I'm sure he did. He must have, right? If he's a Destiny dick rider, life ruined. Life ruined. The fact that he put out a bounty on someone and wasn't banned. So they just lie. He just lied about me. I didn't put a bounty on Destiny. A bounty is when you say, if somebody does X, I will give you this. That's a bounty. I never did that. I mean, that's simply not the case. I'm sorry, it's not the case. I'm sorry, I'm too smart. Sorry about your ruined life. Okay, well, how's my career doing? Chat, let's look at my career. Let's use objective metrics. I don't want any cope. I don't want any mental cope about me. I want to just look at the numbers and be like, hey, is my career ruined? Is my career ruined? Is my life ruined? I want to be honest. For all the right-wingers that come in my chat, I want you... What's going on? Is this not load? It's just broken? Okay, there we go. Okay, so it kind of looks like this month is like my best ever month. It kind of looks like that. Even as I have more competition than ever. More people streaming against me than ever. That's so odd. I mean, right now, I've got... Of all the people who... If you put 1,000 viewers of Twitch in a room, 41 of them on the entire world... You took a representative sample of 1,000 people watching Twitch. 41 of them are watching me. Oh, did I have a moment of F? Sorry about that, chat. I don't know what that was. That's Twitch. 41 people spamming F. Yeah. You know, chat, I don't think my life is ruined. Turkey Tom. I don't know, man. I think he's trying to say my life is ruined because I got banned for 3 days during the weekend when I don't stream. I'm only the 177th largest English-speaking Twitch channel in the world. Damn, what a fucking loser I am, huh? Ooh, I'm at 18 million hours watched. Nice. Turkey Tom. I don't even like Ethan, but I feel like supporting him just because Assad and his cronies are acting far too out of line. Mike would die for a handshake. Turkey Tom, let's meet up. Let's meet up in real life, Turkey Tom. We'll see. More Pegasus. It's over. Finally done. It's over. Slop tubers. The end. Miskiff. He got caught. It's over. I quit. It's over. Beat him up. It's over. Asmongold. He got caught. Life ruined. Permaban. He's suing. I'm broke. He's not suing anyone. He's getting sued. This isn't even Turkey Tom, by the way. I got the wrong one. Sorry, chat. This is Turkey Tom. He just looks like a fucking pedophile. Christ. All right, what was I saying? With all these things came out, I lost pretty much a large chunk of my audience, and content creators kind of have to pivot to what they're doing to other topics once they lose access to a demographic. So originally, I never really covered anything political or talking about, you know, white privilege. So yeah, I would say my content definitely had to find a new route on how to be successful online. And so unfortunately, I had to make a little bit more extreme comments to be successful in the career that I'm in now. This is Tectoad explaining how he had to become a right-wing grifter in order to remain successful. You all have to build your own network to stream. Okay, this is what I need to explain to everybody. This happens every time either Hassan or I get banned. The reason why we stream on Twitch is because it is a mainstream platform and we are relevant to American mainstream politics now. Our size makes us relevant. They're forced to deal with us because we take up space on the mainstream platform. If I'm forced onto an alternative platform, that would be bad. Does that make sense? And here, I'll try to explain it to you the other way. If we go to Twitch and you go to browse and you go to just chatting and you make sure the language is English, you have a bunch of people watching soccer and then me. Do you understand? Like, that's all you need to know. Honestly, I need to make my title bigger. It's too small. I just make it a slightly smaller than that. It's a little bit too big now. There you go. See, we're trying to make our stream clickable because I'm at the top. You see that? And then, like, that is the way it goes. That's how it goes. So unless you're watching soccer, I'm the next biggest. That's bigger than all the booba streamers. That's bigger than all the gamers. That's bigger than all the other famous people, the girls doing yoga, anime avatars. That's why we're on this platform. How long is Hassan's ban? Probably only going to be this weekend. Asmund said heinous shit.
Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go, like, after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more. That's the only solution. That you're never going to win these people over. You're never going to explain it to them. You're never going to be like, oh, well, why won't you see my point of view? Because they don't want to. Why not just shoot the tires? So that way you make the car unsafe and some
So the car, when you shoot the driver, the car becomes unsafe because there's no one controlling it. If you shoot a tire, the driver can still react and slow the car down. You know, just a thought.
Other innocent bystander can get hurt indiscriminately because the person didn't follow the law. Nah, bro, you shoot them right in the fucking face. They said to stop the car. They said not to do this. They said to get out, and she's walking around driving around. What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You shoot them right in the fucking head.
See, the problem with this kind of argument, of course, is if there's a lot more of us than there are of them. There's a lot more people that are opposed to ICE than there are people in ICE and who support ICE in, say, Los Angeles, California. Let's just get down to brass tacks here, all right? And if the way we're going to play it, which is we're just going to try to walk around shooting people once we identify what group they're in, there's going to be a lot more of us than them. That's why you should not advocate for violence if you're Asmongold. You understand that? Like, he advocates for violence. That's going to result in a lot more people that are harmed on the other side than it is on this side. And what is then going to end up happening is soldiers are going to start mutinying because they're not going to want to go and shoot their fellow Americans, and they're going to be hated by everybody. And they're going to see the social media, and they're going to see women hating them, and everyone's going to hate their fucking guts. And they're going to be humiliated and ashamed to be in the military, and they're going to mutiny. Do you know how I know that happens? Because that's what happened in Russia under the czars. The only way they can get away with this if they target a small group of people that people could distance themselves from. But when they start shooting white people on the street and liberals and everybody, see, they were getting away with it for a while there. That's why we protest, because we force them to confront American citizens who disagree with them, and we have constitutional rights. And if they trample on American citizens who have constitutional rights, it becomes very clear that liberals aren't going to be able to hide and stay safe. That's how revolutions are made. So Asmongold is dumb as fuck. I almost want, and like, that's why advocating for violence from the right is very stupid. See, the thing about them is, and they, by the way, they did the same shit. They did the same shit when they fought the Civil War. When they fought the Civil War, there was a group of Southerners called Fire Eaters. They were called Fire Eaters. They were the radical pro-secession Democrats and slavery supporters. Dubbed Fire Eaters by critics, the group was not a cohesive political faction, but a collection of radical Democrats well known for their extreme rhetoric and national demands for an independent Southern nation. Fire Eaters used threats of secession to persuade Northerners who generally valued saving the Union over fighting slavery to vote for James Buchanan. They used several recent events for propaganda, among them Bleeding Kansas and the caning of Charles Sumner, to accuse the North of trying to abolish slavery immediately. And like, they were basically guys, and they were like, we're gonna kill these Northerners. One Southerner is worth 10 Northerners. Then he returned to Burke County to raise a regiment for the Confederate States Army. Several of Avery's brothers had prominent roles in the Confederate Army, most notably Isaac Avery, who was killed while leading his regiment at Gettysburg. But William Wangskill spent most of the Civil War in Morgantown attending to family business. He died in Morgantown from wounds received in a skirmish with a party of Tennessee Unionists in 1864 after a raid on Camp Vance by the Union's 3rd North Carolina Mounted Infantry. 1 year to the day after the death of his brother Isaac, Avery Hall was at the University of North Carolina was named in his honor. This motherfucker got killed. This was the Asmongold of his day, right? And he was talking big shit about the Union. And he and his brother caught a musket bullet. This is what always happens to these far right guys. They keep, if we could go through these lists, most of them died. Most of them died. A lot of them were cowardly as well and never fought. Am I streaming tomorrow? Probably. I'm kind of feeling like I want to keep the leftist presence strong on Twitch while Hassan is banned. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want there to be any dip. You're currently the 67th biggest stream on all of Twitch. Nice.
On this broadcast where ICE agents will walk up to counter protesters, will walk up to protesters and film them in their faces and go, smile, you're on fucking camera, you're on a watch list now. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin's response was firm. There is no database of domestic terrorists run by ICE. There's just one problem. She's lying. 2 senior national security officials tell me that there are more than a dozen secret and obscure watch lists that Homeland Security and the FBI are using to track protesters. Both anti-ICE and pro-Palestinian. This is another big suck my dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there, fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. You fucking run around going, oh my God, Israel first, Israel first. Why are you?
In what way was he using that as a proxy for a protected group? Someone's an Israel first dick rider. I need it explained. I don't understand how that's a proxy for a protected group. So are Israel first ICE agents a protected group? He's right about that. Assad is just very anti-Semitic. Fuck Israel. Like, that's what the chat says. So you have people spreading propaganda and then everybody agreeing with Hassan.
You tying this back to
W Israel.
Palestine, because this is precisely the fucking same shit. You Israel first monsters, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. How can you fucking say that when the first
W Hassan, based God.
The first,
not gonna lie, W take. Like, I need Twitch to come on and explain exactly why that is a bannable offense. Somebody come on here and explain to me, an open invitation. I know you guys are watching. Why is this bannable? Can you explain to me how that, what group was he talking about that it was a proxy for? They're gonna say Zionism equals Jewish. No, it doesn't. It says in their own rules. It says in their own fucking rules. An update on how we enforce our hateful conduct policy. As part of our hateful conduct policy, we prohibit the use of terms that may or may not be harmful or abusive in isolation, but can be used as a slur or to denigrate others in certain contexts. In line with that approach starting today, using the term Zionist to attack or demean another individual or group of people on the basis of their background or religious belief is against our rules. What background was Hassan attacking? What background was Hassan attacking? Somebody explain to me. What background was Hassan attacking? 10K likes, calling out Twitch. 5 times as many likes as the people who got him banned. Over just the past 2 months, Asmongold has advocated for Somali Americans to be pogromed, stripped of their assets and citizenships, and deported. By the way, this should be bannable because it's against their national origin, which is directly against the Civil Rights Act and Twitch's TOS. In fact, if you have clips of this, let's start mass reporting Asmongold for this. If you see him saying anything about Somali Americans, come get me a clip so we can start mass reporting. Let's get this fucking rat banned. So you can do another clip resurfaces. Just 2 weeks prior, Asmongold called all African nations shitholes and called American Congresswoman Ilhan Omar a parasite while bringing up her Muslim background.
Shouldn't be in front of the car.
Fantasized about taking over the government in order to have his trans critics murdered by the state. Called Muslim members of Congress parasites. At no point did Twitch take disciplinary action, but if you call someone a Zionist, I don't know what else to say, man. Like, let's look at Twitch TOS again. We recognize that Zionist and Zionism also refer to a political movement, which is exactly what Hassan was saying. This is exactly what Hassan was saying. I'm sorry, but what the fuck is this ban? Using the term to refer to the political movement, whether in a supportive or critical way, does not violate our hateful conduct policy. Our goal isn't to stifle conversation about or criticism of an institution or ideology, but you just did. You just fucking did. ICE agents are using secret lists of pro-Palestinian activists and murdering them on the street. And Hassan criticized a merging story of that, the evidence of that, journalism of that, and you banned them. What are you guys doing? But to prevent coded hate directed at individuals and groups of people, we include examples of language we prohibit in our enforcement notes. I think the main reason he got banned is because he said Zionist, ultra Zionist, and then name of animal, right? Like, that's why he got banned. Prohibited example, Zionist name of animal. Allowed example, Zionist settlers keep encroaching Palestinian borders. Don't be mean to the Zionist, guys. Don't say Zionist anything. Now, if you say American rat, A-okay. British rat, fine. French rat, German scum. Japanese rat, South Korean rat, Chinese rat, North Korean rat, that's fine. Australian rat, but you better not criticize Israel. If you criticize Israel, you're a bigot. The new Epstein Files production features numerous allegations made against Donald Trump and others. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them. This is extremely graphic. Extremely graphic.
Immigration action that the Trump administration...
It's such a pretty impressive, though, that is what got him after all the recent comments, though. I mean, he's been saying some outlandish shit that this is what gets him.
Took was literally try to deport...
Notice that these fucking dipshits never actually say what we say that's outlandish. Say what we say that's outlandish. They just say that we say outlandish shit, but they don't ever actually say what it is. God, they're so fucking stupid. They're such pussies. And again, you know, listen, I'm against violence, but I think there is a real crisis in our country where in order for us to be able to transcend violence, you need to have people that are acting in good faith. And once you allow the pollution of your discourse with bad faith, once you allow the pollution of your politics with dishonesty, and it does not get punished, it gets rewarded, then violence becomes almost certainly a result. And you're seeing that from Donald Trump succeeding, right? Because Donald Trump can't actually deliver anything. While most people are mad about the admin, Twitch is still trying to triangulate a position that will appease the right-wing lynch mobs online. That's why they banned me, why they banned Harry Not Average, but they'll never ban Asmongold for saying way worse things. And by the way, a lot of this is because a lot of Twitch staff are really old guys. I mean, like, listen, they're not the young people anymore. They're not in touch with young people anymore. They're old, crusty incels. And the good old boys club days are ending. A lot of Twitch staff used to abuse their power to go after women and try to get sexual favors and hold up, career advancement through their sexual exploitation. All right, that's just a fact. So that culture was not uprooted, really. Twitch has robbed us of a generational stream, man. Testing streamers gaydar. I'm so mad right now. I bet you their gaydar is fucking terrible. Even though they spent a lot of time in West Hollywood, I bet their gaydar is terrible. Maybe they've got good LA gaydar where it's over the top, right? But I want to see Hassan identify a Pennsylvania gay. Fuck, I bet you he can't even identify a New York gay. I want to see him identify an Illinois gay. Californian gay, that's easy mode. And the thing that really frustrates me about this is it's just like Twitch thinks they think they're slick, and they've never been slick. They've never been slick. And I've tried my best, chat, to talk to leaders in Twitch and be like, you guys just need to be less interested in the TOS enforcement. But that's like, you need to start banning streamers for doing TOS harassment. Make a rule against it. I don't mind. I mean, I get people banned for violating TOS, but make a rule against it. That's fine. Do something. Sue Dan Saltzman. Sue Destiny. It would cost you not that. I mean, for $100,000, they could absolutely bury Destiny and Dan Saltzman in fucking legal fees and make them like totally scared to say shit. Facebook would do that, by the way. And Facebook does do that. You go after Facebook, like the institution of Facebook, they will sue your fucking ass. If you went after them and started harassing their staff, they would sue your fucking ass. Now, I don't like Facebook, but at least they're defending their staff from getting harassed by psychos. Twitch doesn't do fucking shit. And the reason why is because, let's be completely honest, Twitch staff and Twitch executives are not real executives. They're middle managers. And what is the mentality of a middle manager bureaucrat? The mentality of a middle manager bureaucrat is to keep their head down and collect a bonus. They don't have any power. Like a real CEO can tell their legal guys to sue someone, and they will. They can't, like Twitch CEO can't do that. They have to go to Amazon. They have to go to their higher ups and say, sir, we have this problem with people harassing our staff, and we need you to give us money for legal fees so we can sue them. And they don't want to do that. That's a career risk. That's their fucking higher ups going, okay, what the fuck's going on at Twitch? And they're scared. They're scared of their higher ups actually taking a look at how incompetent they are and getting pissed off. And you know what? I'm kind of okay. Like, they're right. They should be scared. Okay? And they are incompetent. And I kind of want them to keep their head down. But this is not keeping your head down, you dummy. You're increasing the scandal, you dumbass. And I'm sorry for being so like, I know normally people who are trying to be persuasive and nice, I don't care. I'd rather just be mad at me. Be mad at me for telling you the truth. You're dumb. You are falling into their traps. You gave Dan Saltzman a ban of Hassad for a 2,000 like tweet. I have a 50,000 like tweet sitting on my timeline right now. And I made it from the shitter. 2K likes doesn't fucking matter. Who gives a shit? It's like, what are you doing? Here, I can go to my notifications right now. I have a reply that has 2,000 likes. This is a reply. I just ratioed this guy. Open presents. Thank you for 100 subs. That's 2,000 likes. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Here's a tweet I made about Tectone. It has 19,000 likes. Chat, we are dangerously close to a hype train. Please consider supporting the stream. We just got 100 bob. We can get a pretty nice hype train. They didn't ban Tectone. I got 19K. His victim was given a 10-year protective order. That is extremely difficult to get, and now he's barred from ever owning a gun. If he borrows a gun, he commits a felony. They don't hand those out on Texas in a whim. The judge found probable cause that he was a rapist and a stalker. He actually found, I think it's even higher than that. It's like preponderance of the evidence. Preponderance of the evidence, which is a higher standard than probable cause. Like, what the fuck are we doing? 2K like tweets and you're gonna ban Hassan and he gets 1 million views on your platform. Are you dumb as fuck? Are you stupid? And nobody gives a shit. The ADL wasn't even crowing about that. It was so minor. What the fuck are you doing, dummy? Justin, Axer, I'm sorry, chat. I can't even read this shit anymore. I guess he's an anti-Semite now. ICE likes to justify its killings of everyday people. It's the same playbook Israel uses to kill Palestinians. He stole this post from me. This is literally my post. He stole this post from me. This is literally my post. Jacqueline Phoenix, or however you say his fucking name, stole this post from me. Hakeem Phoenix. I got it. This is literally my post. This is literally the Israeli tactic. The IDF would have drones playing sounds of children screaming or in distress and then shoot people. They came out to help the children they believed to be there. Oh, by the way, 40K like tweet. Jacqueline Phoenix? Hakeem Phoenix? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Joaquin Phoenix? Okay, yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know why I forgot how to pronounce his name. I like that actor too. I'm so bad with names, dude. I'm so bad. Like, it's actually embarrassing. Like, I have a 10 IQ when it comes to reading people's names. I have like a 10 IQ when it comes. I don't know why. I just can never remember people's names. I think it has to do with being a solipsistic narcissist, where I'm like, yeah, that's your name, and I just don't care. Do people really think Hassan was wrongfully banned? Why did you come in here on an alt? Why are you such a fucking pussy that you came here on an alt? Come on your main, you fucking bitch. Jesus Christ. Silver dipped today a lot. Yeah, that's why people were asking me if they should buy silver the other day. I was like, listen, I'm not your advisor. It already went up so much. That would be unwise, in my opinion, you know? That's buying high, you know? Incoming Trump meltdown. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura suggests his state secede from the U.S. and join Canada. True! Honestly, I honestly would like to break up the country. If I'm being completely honest, I think the world would be a better place if we did divide America up. And if we take basically the Northeast, the upper Midwest, the West Coast, and joined Canada, I mean, America's basically irrelevant then. Like the Gulf Coast, and then we put military, we use Guantanamo Bay to sanction and blockade the United States, the remainder of the United States. We don't let Chinese goods go to America, and then we see how quickly their economy crashes, and then we could say capitalism doesn't work. Look at the economy in the US. Capitalism failed. You're assuming Canada wants you? Bro, Canada being the world's second largest power. Probably a good deal, right? Who gets the nukes? Obviously, Canada. They roll down south from Saskatchewan and they grab the missile silos really quick. And we're gonna get DC, obviously. It's 90%, 95% Democrat. Of course we're getting DC, which means we're also getting the command for the nukes. We're getting Colorado. That's where NORAD is. Like, come on. What are you thinking?
Present help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options.
The best rates.
Who can we talk
here we
about
go.
getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No.
Wow.
They actually took down information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that matching your description, we're in this building harassing the individuals who...
And he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers that everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So we're
another Karen. Yep.
This is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance.
And the Somali community is a very closed community, so everybody's in on it, and they don't want to talk, as you can see.
What would you have the police do instead if you were them? What would be your course of action? Genuinely curious. I would create a situation where the police would be afraid to defend these places because they would be worried about being persecuted. This would cause the police to leave and completely disband the police force. This would allow the companies and the people in the area to be effectively completely lawless and turn it into anarchy. That would make it completely chaotic, and these people would then become terrorized by the people that are in.
By the way, this is a literal call for terrorism. A literal call for terrorism. A literal call for terrorism.
Present help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this.
Guys, hey, remember to pay your taxes so Somalians can live the American dream. This is what I would do. I would look at every single one of the residents and also citizens that have immigrated here. And if these people are considered to be net negative taxpayers, I would deport them and denaturalize and deport them. That's what I would do. Because why do we have all of these leeches on our society whenever they're not even from here? Will Trump act on this? No, I don't think he will. That's one of the reasons why I didn't vote for him. I didn't think that he had the, I don't think that he had the grit to do that. He's really great at killing people in the Middle East. That's amazing. What about people here? Not good enough. Guys, hey, remember to pay your taxes so Somalians can live the American dream. This is what I would do. I would look at every single one of the residents and also citizens that have immigrated here. And if these people are considered to be net negative taxpayers, I would deport them and denaturalize and deport them. That's what I would do. Because why do we have all of these leeches on our society whenever they're not even from here? Will Trump act?
So 80% of the Somali population in Minnesota are American citizens. That is against Twitch TOS. I want you to understand. Twitch TOS, if you go to the terms and community guidelines, and you say national origin, hateful conduct, Twitch aims to be a place where people can come together in a shared community experiences. This vision is threatened when people experience harmful rhetoric and abuse on Twitch. Twitch does not permit behavior that is motivated by hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, including behavior that promotes or encourages discrimination, denigration, harassment, or violence based on the following protected characteristics: race, ethnicity, color, caste, national origin, immigration status, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, serious medical condition, and veteran status. Immigration status and national origin. He literally said we should go terrorize them. We need to set up our own spam networks. We need to set up our own email systems where I can prepare an email, get a clip, and let's get some programmers in chat. Let's start getting some email spamming websites up. It seems like it's okay. Twitch likes it. So let's start getting it going, because I tried to tell them many, many times they need to be more active. So if that's what they want, I guess we got to play the game. I don't know what else to say. It's unfortunate. I wish they would just ban Tectone and Asmongold, rapists and view botters. You know that we have evidence dead to rights that Tectone view botted and they didn't ban him? We have evidence dead to rights that that was in the court case of Tectone view botting, paying for bots to manipulate the platform, and they do not ban him. Promote, glorify, threaten, or advocate violence, physical harm, or death against individual groups on basis of protected characteristic, including age. Thank you, everybody, for gifting subs during the hype trade. You guys are the best. And I'm not even mad at Asmongold. I'm not even mad at Dan Cantrim. Like, Dan Saltzman has absolutely no reason to live. He really has no reason to live. He put his entire adult life into propping up Destiny, and Destiny is a complete flop. And so fixating on Hassan is all they've got. I mean, this guy is nearing Social Security retirement age, and he has absolutely no reason to live. That's crazy. And Hassan's still going to stream on YouTube, so it's meaningless. I mean, it's a weekend off. It's a weekend off. What a pathetic worm. Oh, okay. Where was the Twitch TOS that I just had? Oh, ba 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 la 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 la. Da 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 da. See, we're gonna do TOS farming. Honestly, I'm just happy he'll be streaming on YouTube for a bit. The mobile app is actually usable. I know that's what Twitch doesn't like to spend money on, like fixing the mobile app, right? And making the streaming experience better on Twitch. No. Let's not do that. Let's spend our time kowtowing to Dan Saltzman, who called your fucking CEO a pedophile. I want you to imagine being that generationally weak. That's honest to God insane. The dumbest person alive is celebrating.
Taste of some dick celebrates when a pro-Palestinian content gets banned. Bro, hey, Hassan, no, hold on. Hassan, you are the most ironic hypocrite. You will purposely wait for trends to be more popular. I guarantee you were not saying free Palestine first before everyone. I guarantee you weren't. You wait for people to make it a mainstream thing before you start talking about it. How come you didn't come at ICE earlier? Why are you coming at them now when the whole world does? You're a pathetic pussy, and you're a political streamer who couldn't get a stream with the president like I could, and you can never. You suck, bro, and you're almost 40 years old, and I'm half your age. I'm doing way better than you, bro. So go ahead and convince your dumb, stupid fucking fan base that you fucking, it's okay to be trendy at 13 years old. You're part of the problem, bro. Fuck you, leave America. You hate it so much. In Trump's throat to taste of some dick celebrates when a pro-Palestinian content.
This is our enemies, chat. And listen, once you realize this, once you realize that these are our enemies, you start to understand why Mao and Stalin were the way they were. You know what I mean? Like, when you start to realize that, oh, like, the people that support fascism are Aiden Ross and Asmongold, and then you start looking into them more and more and more and more, you're just like, oh, they're actually just scum. They're evil scum.
What does a fascist mean?
It means you are a far right authorization on ultra analyst political ideology movement characterized by dictator leadership, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition. So I don't know what that means, bro. I swear to God. I don't know what the fuck a fascism is. I don't know what the fuck that is. Benito Mussolini and Giviante Gentile and Jason Stanley. Like, who the fuck are these people, bro? Never heard of my fucking life. What is an example of a fascist? Yo!
And it's so funny because, like, we watched a video of Hassan. He made it, I think it was like 11 years ago against ICE. And it was, does anyone have that link? I want to show you guys this. Because maybe there's some people that think, like, we're all laughing at him because, like, I've been talking about Palestine since 2019 on this channel. You know, I knew it was going to be a genocide in Gaza on October 9th of 2023. We opposed ICE and called for the abolition of ICE for a long. Here's a 7-year-old video of Hassan calling out ICE.
First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a communist.
ICE is Gestapo, a state-sponsored law enforcement division created to wreak havoc in our communities, separate families, and punish people, well, overwhelmingly people of color, for the crime of wanting to pursue the American dream.
When you commit a crime against this country, enter the country illegally, you should be worried.
ICE terrorizes your neighbors with its indiscriminate exercise of force and has less to do with violent criminal apprehension than ever before. You don't target jaywalkers when you're trying to end violent crime, so why do ICE targets range from teenagers in middle school to little girls with cerebral palsy on their way to the hospital? And no, I didn't misspeak. ICE literally apprehended a child with cerebral palsy.
A 10-year-old girl with cerebral palsy faces deportation after her ambulance was stopped at an immigration checkpoint while on her way to get emergency surgery.
Do you feel safe? I feel much safer knowing that this criminal is getting deported.
Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist.
And it doesn't end there. Just look at Long Island, for example. Remember at his State of the Union where Trump made it seem like Long Island had been overtaken by Salvadorian murder gangs raping and killing indiscriminately? And by the way, MS-13 has been responsible for a high number of murders in the area, I will admit that. And violent criminals and gang members who are here illegally should absolutely be deported. However, ICE has used this statistic and Trump's constant fear-mongering to justify what The Intercept calls the new school-to-deportation pipeline. Now, in the Long Island school system, undocumented minors are not protected by the law, and they can be reported for insanely trivial things like a scribble on a notebook or for wearing a Lady Gaga t-shirt, which no one should be punished for. Lady Gaga's great. And if you're not documented yet, even if you're waiting on your green card to arrive, you basically have no rights.
Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist.
And ICE not only deports children, which is already incredibly inhumane, they also target immigrants who are involved in political advocacy. They detain activists for absolutely frivolous reasons. For example, citing a 10-year-old driving infraction, ICE arrested Eliseo Dorado, who is the husband of a sanctuary church leader in Colorado. Last year, ICE detained and threatened to immediately deport dreamer Daniela Vargas right after she spoke at a rally opposing a proposed state anti-immigration law. But what does the director of ICE, Thomas Homan, have to say about all this?
I'm enforcing law laws that they've enacted. I'm enforcing laws that the president signed.
Except that's not exactly the case, because the authorities always enjoy a great deal of discretion over which laws are enforced and how severely. The laws and enforcement in the previous administration kept ICE in check, directing agents to steer clear of otherwise law-abiding residents, even if they were undocumented. So basically, grandma doesn't get the boot for a broken taillight because that shit is inhumane. Yet, even with those directives in place, the Obama administration still deported more people than Trump in his first year. But there's one area ICE has nearly tripled its enforcement on: non-criminal immigrants. Now, under these new directives, ICE happily targets low-hanging fruit, severely increasing the amount of legal permanent residents, since to a racist shitlord like Donald Trump, these are just numbers on the board.
Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew.
It doesn't matter if you're a law-abiding legal permanent resident. Even if you're here legally and ICE doesn't like your tone, or if you have a tiny smudge on your record, they will target you for deportation. It doesn't matter.
And by the way, this is 7 years ago. Hassan called it fucking perfectly. He called it fucking perfectly. He called it directly on the dot. Not only was he saying this 7 years ago, which Aiden Ross is dead wrong, he's a fucking moron, he also predicted exactly what would happen to legal permanent residents under Trump.
Matter if you were brought here at the age of 1 and 29 years later your 5-year-old son is battling leukemia, ICE will first tell you you're not a priority when you submit an application for sanctuary, then they'll detain you years later. No one is safe. Community leaders and business owners of immigrant backgrounds are subjected to intense scrutiny and get detained. Even doctors aren't safe.
A doctor has been arrested, detained by ICE after living in the U.S. for nearly 40 years.
This guy escaped Poland at the age of 5 and was a legal permanent resident for 40 years. He was nabbed for 2 crimes committed in '92 when he stole property worth under $100, and then he broke property over $100, and the offenses were later expunged from his record anyway. But that didn't stop ICE from deporting him.
Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out.
Now, I know I'll be criticized up and down for this comparison I've made linking ICE to Gestapo, but it's one that you have to understand. Yes, ICE isn't rounding up immigrants to gas them to death, but that's not how the Gestapo started off either. We live in a time when ICE is actively trying to become a U.S. intelligence agency to get warrantless surveillance powers. History is riddled with examples of horrific, inhumane abuses perpetrated under the veil of following and enforcing the rule of law. Don't forget that Gestapo was also enforcing the laws of their land at that time. Laws of the land change with time and progress, and it's up to us to stand for that change we want to see. It's probably why Holocaust expert Robert Gallatley described the Gestapo as a reactive organization, which was constructed within German society and whose functioning was structurally dependent on the continuing cooperation of German citizens. So if Americans want to stop our very own modern-day incarnation of the Gestapo, it's up to us to speak up. It's up to us to speak out and resist. I'm Hassan Piker. Please share this video with your friends. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube, on Instagram at Hassan D. Piker, and on Twitter at Hassan the Hun. And this has been The Breakdown.
ICE agents have taken I. Georgia Ford into custody of Minneapolis after having filmed the church protest of the pastor who doubles for an ICE agent.
We're able to go before a grand. Do you want to wear my black boots? You guys, I wanted to alert the public that agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest. I've talked to an attorney, and I'm being advised to go with them, I guess, down to Whipple. And my children are here. They're impacted by this. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago. Again, I don't have a long time here, you guys, but I wanted you to know, for me, agents are at my door right now. My attorney has spoken with them. I did send a relative outside to talk to them. They're showing some type of documentation, apparently, that they got an indictment from a grand jury. I knew that I was on a defendant's list. I did not publish it because it was under seal. And so we've done everything that we can to try and abide by, you know, the advice of our attorneys. But right now, you guys, I wanted you to know I'm going to have to hop off here and surrender to agents as a member of the press. I filmed the church protest a few weeks ago, and now I'm being arrested for that. It's hard to understand how we have a constitution, constitutional rights, when you can just be arrested for being a member of the press. We've seen all these violations. All right, you guys, I gotta go. They're knocking.
Yep, she's coming right now.
Give me 1 second.
And this is what it's really about, chat. This is what it's really about.
So we talked about TikTok the other day and how TikTok is just, I mean, it's over. It's over. It's done with TikTok. I mean, they were such a big and popular app, but literally in one fell swoop, they just ruined all of it. So the day after the sale was finalized, of course, it was a Chinese company, but then there was a forced sale to the MAGA Zionist billionaire Larry Ellison. And as soon as that was finalized, like literally day one, they started rolling out the aggressive ass censorship. If you criticize ICE, your video got cooked and wasn't even spread through the algorithm at all. If you criticize Trump, same thing. You criticize Israel, same thing. You got channels that have millions of followers that had literally 0 views or like single-digit views on videos. And then they came out and tried to clean it up, and they said, oh, no, we had a problem with one of our data centers, and that's why there's like a glitch happening right now, but it's all good. Don't worry about it. But then you go to your DMs, right? And you try. This happened too. We had Crystal tried it. Type Epstein in and try to send it to somebody. It won't let you send the word Epstein. And other words you could send. Epstein, you can't send. This has nothing to do, some data center. Yeah, there was a fire at some data center, and so I can't send only the word Epstein through DMs, and ICE videos aren't spread through the algorithm. Fuck off. Like, how stupid do you think we are? This is insulting to our intelligence. So anyway, overnight, they nuked this whole industry. So now people are all downloading this app called Upscrolled. It's, sort of like a TikTok type app, but it's run by somebody who is not a Zionist MAGA freak. And so this guy, I think he had 60 family members die in Gaza. And so he's not going to be censoring, anti-genocide videos. Well, and then Yahoo decided to further terrify the world here and torture the world here with this very fucking cryptic address that he gives. Listen to what he says here.
And of course, it's most prevalent in the social media. This is the new battlefield. And this is where we must counter with our own weapons. We're late in the game, but we will win this battle too, as we won on the battlefield, because we are developing the means to fight this. Not with cavalry against F-35s, with F-40s against F-35s. This is the next thing.
So he's talking about winning the battle on the battlefield of social media against anti-Semitism. Now, of course, when he says we need to fight anti-Semitism, what he means is we want to ban any and all criticism of Israel. If you criticize Israel, you're anti-Semitic. If you correctly say that they're doing a genocide, you're anti-Semitic. If you correctly call out their war crimes, you're anti-Semitic. If you talk about the instances of people waving white flags who were shot, you're anti-Semitic. You talk about the sniping kids in the face, you're anti-Semitic. You talk about bombing hospitals and schools, you're anti-Semitic. You bring up facts about what actually happened, you're anti-Semitic. And so he's saying this, again, at the same time, Larry Ellison.
I must be the 15th person to ask this. What is Hassan banned for? We watched the clip. You should be able to do Twitch Rewind if you're a subscriber, right? Twitch Rewind is currently working, right, chat? Twitch Rewind is currently working, right? No? Should definitely... Oh, it's definitely working. You have to pay money to get it. You have to be a subscriber to get it. Sorry, chat. I didn't make that rule. Twitch did. So what was I saying? Yeah, I explained why he got banned. And I was able to do so by watching it through XQC's stream. So they banned me for watching it. They got to ban the old XQC, or else that would be inconsistent, which they care about a lot. While Americans are rightfully distracted by all this, their government violently strangles Cuba. It's all connected, man. It's all connected. Who do you think opposes sanctioning Cuba more than me? I am fully radicalized. Like, what do you want me to say? Of course I'm against it. And of course, the people that are for it are also for Israel. And they're also for invading Venezuela. They're also for genociding Palestinians. They're all connected. All those things are the same fucking thing. They're also for destroying the planet with climate change and fighting a Cold War with China and discriminating against trans people and stealing abortion rights away from women and defending rapists like Tectone. It's all connected. It's all fucking connected. I'm sorry, but it is. What do you want me to say? We have to keep talking about internationalism. I'm literally talking about internationalism right now by showing how Benjamin Netanyahu and the Zionist forces within this country are trying to censor any criticism and going after the people that are also the most internationalist. There's no one who's more internationalist than me. My name is Central fucking Committee. I was arguing against hating China in 2019. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who the fuck's more internationalist than me as a creator? They were probably anybody you watched was probably complaining about tankies, and they meant me 5 years ago. Okay? Like, Jesus Christ. That's the thing that's the most hilarious. I am the most radical fucking Twitch streamer. But who gives a fuck? Who honestly cares? I don't even give a shit. I don't even give a shit. It doesn't even matter. I have never really fully advocated for what I think should be done because Americans aren't ready for it yet. So what's the fucking point? I'm trying to set you guys up so that you can accept what needs to be done, but it has to be a process. For you to get where you need to be, we have to go through this. We can't skip the steps. As much as I want to skip the steps, you can't skip the steps. We have to go through the midterms. We have to watch them trying to rig it. We have to watch the suppression. We have to watch the violence because liberals are not going to accept that fighting back is necessary. They have to see every procedure fail. They have to see every petition denied. I mean, if you study history, you know that to be the case. If you study the Russian Revolution, if you study the American Revolution, if you study the French Revolution, you need to understand that regular everyday people have to push all the buttons. And they have to see that all the buttons are disconnected before they want to do something more. And so we have to be ready for it. Prepare yourself for the day when everybody is forced to choose a side. Are you ready? Are you ready to be a leader when that moment happens? Are you ready to be the person that people rally around when they accept that there's no other way? That's the person you need to become. When somebody asks you, how do you treat a bullet wound? Do you know the answer? Somebody asks you how to clean a gun. Do you know the answer? Somebody asks you how to zero a gun. Do you know the answer? Be the person that knows the answer.
MAGA Zionist billionaire buys TikTok, immediately destroys it, mass censors it. He's saying, oh, we're going to do this with the rest of social media. He's good to his fucking word. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I'm sure they are looking at... I don't think they're going to do just like an outside campaign where the ADL tries to beg the fucking social media companies like, we need you to ban this, this, and this. No, I think it's literally infiltrate. It's literally, we'll have a Zionist billionaire buy the different social media outlets and just try to ban any and all criticism of Israel. We saw it on YouTube. They were like deleting videos that had evidence of the genocide. Remember that? There was an article that explained how they deleted a whole bunch of videos that it was endless documentation of the evidence of genocide. I think they're actually committed to doing that to try to save their ass from any accountability ever. They're trying to destroy any and all evidence of the genocide that they just committed, live streamed in 4K, that all of us saw and that I documented here on this channel. These are terrifying, terrifying times. And in the past, I would have said, like, he's overreaching. There's no way you could, like, sort of snuff all this stuff out. Now, I don't fucking know. I just watched the president of my country illegally fucking abduct a sovereign leader in Venezuela and steal their oil and put it in a personal bank account in Qatar. Did I think that shit would have been possible? No. Did I think my president would repeatedly be threatening to steal fucking Greenland? No. Did I think my president would have murdered over 100 people on fucking fishing boats in the Caribbean? No. All the things I thought, hey, maybe this won't happen. Maybe ICE Gestapo thugs won't murder innocent Americans on video multiple times and with no consequences whatsoever. All the shit that we thought, oh, there's some guardrails, there's some rules, no, that's wrong. There are zero guardrails, there are zero rules, there are zero protections. We are the only protection that we have. Our rights are only as secure as we force them to be. You understand what I'm saying? And so now you have Benjamin Netanyahu going, oh, we're going to win this battle too. We're going to wage a battle against anti-Semitism online.
Ultimately, like, this is what you have to conclude. Like, the forces of Zionism, like the people that are in favor of censoring your speech for criticizing Israel, are your mortal enemy. Like, it's one thing to say, to be a disgusting racist who supports an ethno-state. That's bad enough. But that is technically allowed under the First Amendment. That is technically allowed. You can go out there and advocate for that shit under the First Amendment. But to actually try to control my speech and make it illegal for me to boycott Israel, to make it illegal for me to criticize Israel, that's actually a mortal threat to my basic fundamental human rights. And under the laws of nature and the laws of self-preservation, I have the right to defend myself against you.
And on social media. And so what does that mean? I'm sure it means exactly what you all think it means. Stricter standards that extend the definition of anti-Semitism to include criticism of Israel, special positions put in place of censors at these different social media companies to make sure that nothing is said that criticizes Israel, that, you know, you get in trouble, you get censored, you get deplatformed, you get banned, or what have you, if you levy those sorts of criticisms. Infiltration, where, like we had with Larry Ellison, destroying TikTok, you have these Zionist MAGA billionaires take over and destroy everything. And so, by the way, you could also see now how billionaires are literally a threat to democracy and your freedoms, right? You get that now? Literally when it was a Chinese company, your rights were so much better protected than when it went to a Zionist MAGA billionaire. You see that, right? The Chinese censorship was when you were allowed to say almost anything on TikTok. Whereas now, under a Zionist MAGA billionaire, don't criticize ICE, don't criticize Trump, don't criticize Israel. If you do, we'll ban you or your video won't go fucking anywhere. So when individuals have that much power, it undermines everybody's rights because they could buy whatever preference they want. They can censor people, they can snuff people out, they can push their narrative, they can put down other narratives, they can hide the truth, they can do whatever. And so nobody should have that much money, nobody should have that much power, nobody should have that much control. In fact, the big social media companies should be public utilities where they're protected by the Bill of Rights.
I don't give a fuck about TikTok. Those are treats that are always going to be manipulated. Keep our eyes on the pillage of the rest of the world. How do you think people know about Israel? Why do you think people's minds were changed about Gaza? Are you a bad empanada moron? Like, are you stupid? The reason why people are now trying to fight against Israel is because of places like TikTok. The American left is now growing more than it ever has. And the reason is because of social media and us being allowed to make our arguments unimpeded to the public. That's why they're trying to censor us. That's why they're furious, because this is the first time the left has been able to make our arguments to the public. They censor TikTok in order to prevent anti-imperialist thought from spreading, dummy. Bad empanada is funny. No, he's not. He's a fucking loser, dude. He's actually disgusting. Al Jazeera is paid for by the Qataris government. Drop site exists on social media platform called Substack. You're dumb. And they get most of their fucking viewership from social media. You're stupid. This guy, I think he might be an op. I think because you're dumber than dirt. The thing about the Zionists and Benjamin Netanyahu is they're not subtle. They say it all out loud. And then we have dumb fucking worthless sacks of subhuman shit like yourself telling us to surrender. It's because you are scared you're gonna lose. And so you preemptively surrender and you distance yourself emotionally from the defeat because you're scared of losing, because you're a child. Because you're a baby and a child and you cannot stomach a defeat. So you have to distance yourself from any defeat that occurs because you're not built to fight. You're built to surrender. You're a fucking serf. The very first lesson you must learn if you want to be a revolutionary is that we will be defeated from time to time. That we cannot fight every battle. That we have to choose our location. You need to start thinking like the gorilla that you actually are. We pick and choose what we fight to cause damage so that we can escape and live to fight another day. You don't run out there and go, well, they're going to beat us, so actually it doesn't matter. That was the same cope I saw when people were attacking Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush as not being sufficiently pro-Palestine, as they were two of the most pro-Palestinian representatives in Congress, and they had argued in favor of stripping funding from Israel, and people have been like, well, they made bad votes 3 years ago, so we shouldn't care. In fact, we should protest them. And you know what ended up happening? They got replaced by ultra-Zionists who voted to thank ICE. Did that advance the cause of Palestinian action? But no, those people would have distanced themselves from the defeat so they could claim that that Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush's defeat wasn't their defeat. It was your defeat. Your ideas were reduced in power. You were defeated there. Have the fucking strength of character to accept that reality so that you could fight on. The problem with people like that chatter is that they're psychologically fragile. They project themselves as, and that's the same thing with Bad Empanada. He projects himself as powerful. He projects himself as loud. He projects himself as principled, right? But in reality, he is ultimately fragile because he can't handle taking L's and fighting on. He could only live in a fantasy. where everything works out perfectly and no one is sacrificed and no one is defeated and no one is killed. And it all just works like a fucking video game or a television show where the good guys have plot armor. This isn't a show. You aren't the main character. And a lot of good people have to die in order for good to win. That's how it works in the real world. And I'm telling you that so that you could get strong. Not to say that those losses or those sacrifices are meaningless. In fact, they are so meaningful. You need to learn to be an adult. You know what, Chad? I'm going to parent you. It's time for some gentle parenting because, honest to God, it sounds like a lot of you were raised poorly, like really poorly. And I'm going to do some gentle parenting. I'm going to show you a video of what gentle parenting it looks like because you fucking need it.
One thing they don't tell you about growing up in...
You fucking need it. Hold on.
You need to admit that the other way was wrong. No, that is how the word is spelled, and you know that. It's okay to be wrong. But you don't need to feel horrible. That everyone's...
Makes me feel like I don't know anything.
But we know you do. We know you're super smart. And we know that you know a lot of things. But you never learn new things unless you can admit that you're wrong about some things. It's okay to get it wrong. But it's not okay to keep pretending it's right when it's wrong. Okay?
It makes me feel like I don't know anything.
I understand it makes you feel that way. But feelings aren't facts. It is just a fact that you know a lot of things. But it's also a fact that you have new things to learn. It's okay to be wrong. That's how we learn. Nobody wants to be wrong, and that's why it's real.
It makes me look goofy and unsmart.
It only makes you look goofy and not smart if you keep insisting you're right when you're wrong. Really smart people take new information and admit that they were wrong when it tells them something different.
Uncle Iro does too much things like that.
But Uncle Iro did wrong things too, remember? He tried to take over Ba Sing Se because he thought that's what was right. And then he learned new things and realized that he was wrong.
But now
Right, because they haven't learned that yet. They do eventually. The point is that it's okay to be wrong as long as you learn from what you were wrong about and learn from your mistakes. And this is why we watch it.
That's why we watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Open presents. Thank you for the 100 gifted subs. I really need people to get more character and more strength because this is not the period of weakness, moral weakness, character weakness. I need you to learn to be a little bit stronger. Open presents. Thank you so much for the 100. And I see so much moral weakness on the left right now, and it disgusts me.
That's how they should function. Because outside of that, you're leaving it up. Look at what happened with Twitter. Elon Musk gets in there, fucking fucks everything up immediately. Starts banning people. Oh, you said a thing I don't like. You said a thing I don't like. Comedy's back, but here I'm going to boost Nazis, but I'm going to ban lefties. It's a fucking mess. It's a fucking mess. And then now we see Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, they successfully got fucking TikTok off the battlefield. And why was TikTok even banned initially? It was banned under Biden, and it was because of the pro-Palestine stuff that was over there. And guess what? Then it was banned. Then it was put in the hands of a MAGA Zionist billionaire. And now also, by the way, you know what was one of the accounts that was destroyed under this new TikTok? The Democratic Party account. What did you learn? What did you learn? Yeah, you guys thought under Biden, oh yeah, we also want to censor the fucking pro-Palestine stuff. How'd that go? Oh, that's right, you got censored too. You cannot trust these people with power. You cannot. You cannot. No MAGA Zionist billionaire should have any semblance of power, never mind the power to control the public square on our social media. And now here's Benjamin Netanyahu promising this war on all the other social media outlets. I'm sure they're going to come for YouTube at some point even more aggressively than they already have. And it's a tough one, because what do you do when you're in a situation like us, like the creators are? Just like I feel bad for the TikTok people. They all went to Upscroll. That's great. What's going to be the haven when they come for YouTube? I don't know. But of course, the devastating thing is you got to go where the audience is, and the audience is on YouTube. So what do you do when they crack down on YouTube? You can open a new thing, but the audience is not there yet. So they got us by the balls. And what we need to do...
The answer is we have to build our own platforms. We have to build our own platforms, and we need the funny people. We need the cool people to go there. And part of the problem is a lot of people are commercially minded, and they're there to make money because you have to make money. That's the coercion of capitalism, right? The reason why Blue Sky failed is because the funny people didn't go there. It didn't reach the level of did reach the level of adoption where it became the place where people go in order to see cutting edge content and cool shit. This is what's called a positive externality. The problem with social media is that they have strong positive externalities and incumbent effects, where the platform is valuable for your account because there's a bunch of other accounts already there. So we have to be more intentional.
Is just defend these things with all of our might. Not allow this infiltration, not allow this bullshit redefinition of anti-Semitism, not allow this creeping censorship and authoritarianism. And this is why we always argued the left-wing position is always anti-censorship. We are anti-censorship. We are pro-free speech. Because who do they fucking come to censor first? The truth tellers, always. They come to censor the people who tell the truth and question power, question authority, question the billionaires, question the Zionists, question the MAGA freaks. To be a lefty is to be an outsider. To be a lefty is to be against the establishment and the system, okay? They will always censor us first. And that's exactly what Netanyahu did. That's exactly what he wants. And he knows the only way to have any chance whatsoever to win out in the long run is to fully control the narrative and just shut up all of his critics. And if that means he's got to censor 90% of the world, he doesn't give a fuck. He will try to do exactly that. So we got to stand up and fight back because this shit is unacceptable.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications.
It failed because it exists on top of a capitalist base. Platforms aren't going to save us. I actually agree with your sewer social beliefs that local focus is what's much needed. Here's my reality. I don't think it's local focus. It's all of the above. And the reason why Zoran worked is because it was a local race that had international implications. We live in national politics, international politics era. By the way, chat, don't violate TOS here. It's not worth losing your account. Even if you disagree with the TOS, which I do, don't give them an easy ban. And I'm not going to let you do that. I'll time you out or ban you myself. Don't allow, this is the mainstream platform. We are dominating a mainstream platform. Don't let them take it away. This is what I'm also trying to teach you. If they banned me or Hassan permanently from this platform, that would be terrible for the left. If they ban all the big leftist streamers off Twitch, that would be terrible for the left. And there's no reason to cope. I'm not saying I'm the most important guy in the world. I'm not that important at all. I'm a minor player in American left-wing politics. Hassan isn't. And he's a major player. And if we were banned from mainstream platforms, it would be terrible for the left. So don't give them that. Don't play into their hands. There's a reason they're trying to control these platforms. So don't give them an easy fucking dunk by doing exactly what they tell you not to do. Be smarter than that. If they ban you, make them ban you unfairly. A lot of people have bureaucrat brain. I am not this way, so it shocks me every time. But a lot of people, they will see that Twitch has a terms of service, and if you violate that and it seems like you violated it, they will agree with you being banned. But if Twitch bans you and it doesn't seem like it violates the terms of service, they'll be against it. There are a lot of people that have bureaucrat brain, where they see a list and then they try to match the content to the list and then go, oh, well, that's fair or that's unfair. They don't have the ability to critically read it and go, that's bullshit, and be against TOS. That takes a higher level of intelligence. So don't give them the bureaucrat brains a justification for banning you. Be smart. It keeps taking up space on this platform is causing them to fucking maul. You know who's not allowed on this platform? Nick Fuentes. You know how much he's mauling over that every single day, that he's not allowed on these mainstream platforms and he could only get elevated on places like Twitter? That's a major impediment to his organizing. That's good. Ethan defending Nick Fuentes. Nothing is wrong with what's wrong with being a gay Mexican manlet. I'd rather be a class traitor than a gay Mexican manlet neo-Nazi. The point is, Ethan Klein, by the way, Ethan Klein, it's not 2019, you fucking, well, I mean, in 2019, you actually had some fans, so, did you see that they hired Girl with a Micro Brain and Harley, to be do another show? They had to pay people to be their orbiters. How much money do you think Teddy Fresh is losing? How much money do you guys think Teddy Fresh is losing now? And Ethan is not allowed to, Ethan is losing a lot of money because it's his wife's, stay busy job that they invented for her to do. And so they can't just close it down because it would be so shameful that they had to close it down. So they're keeping it open for their own ego. I would say they've probably laid everybody off, right? Or almost everybody. Mike, since Upscroll is blowing up, have you considered entering early to gain followers exponentially before everyone makes an account impersonation? I mean, honestly, I should do that, yeah. Shout out to the home of YouTube Shorts. Looking so forward to it. Since I'm banned from Twitch for a couple days, I will be live streaming from my YouTube channel tomorrow, Hasanabi. Regular news coverage in the morning, then the protest stream with Ray, who's running for mayor of LA. Oh, hell yeah, chat. Oh, hell yeah. Twitch is 100% pro-ICE. I mean, I kind of think. At least they're scared of ICE. Mike, we need you to get a setup to do some streams for the streets. I don't like IRL streaming, personally. Like, I just don't enjoy it. Because what I like about streaming is talking to the chat. But it doesn't mean that I can't go on other people's IRL streams. Like Teddy Fresh Google Trends. Line go down. Cap Mike, you don't read chat. I read chat all the time. I have a Teddy Fresh sweater I bought in 2021 and I only put it on once. I don't know what to do with it because it was expensive. Should I donate it? Can't believe you're asking me that question. You're asking me of all people what to do with a Teddy Fresh shirt. Hassan just posted this. Oh, hell yeah. The biggest problems of the Democratic Party. Not only that, let me say one other thing that I want to show you, which is MGP, one of my biggest enemies, and somebody I've been targeting for a while. She posted a video, and I replied. I said it would be really strategic of you to resign in disgrace. I want you to. This is who Destiny and Ezra Klein and Hutch think should be a leader of the Democratic Party. Are you guys ready? Let's hear her out. Let's hear her out. Let's listen to the arguments.
But we have to be strategic and think clearly. And no one's talking about this fact. Like, ICE is pre-funded for 6 years. The reconciliation bill that was passed last January means ICE can keep doing this for 6 years. The money is not. They did it before the budget was passed. They're going to keep doing it if the budget isn't passed. And so the money's not the question. The question is, what leverage do Senate Dems have now to negotiate accountability right now to end this craziness? I think they could negotiate to get Senate. I think they could negotiate to replace Noam with someone that doesn't skirt the filibuster. I think they could get ID numbers on federal law enforcement. I think they could get an end to the surge.
Why do we care? They shot people in cold blood. They're not even arrested. They're not even being investigated. What? So we know the guy? So what? He can get a GoFundMe and make more money? Like, what are you talking about?
I think they could get an investigation in Minnesota that wasn't run by the feds. I think they could get an end to the administrative warrant bullshit. There's stuff that is worth getting because the money is not the question at this point. It's pre-funded.
You know what's not pre-funded? The entire government. Wreck the economy. Make rich people start to worry about their portfolios. And then they're going to start going, hey, you're causing social unrest and you're ruining my fucking money. You're molesting my money. And they'll turn against the Republicans. If you want social democratic concessions, this is how you get them. When rich people, there's two factions of the rich. There are the exterminationist, liquidationist, extreme rich like Elon Musk and the Mercers and the Kochs. And they think that the poor are basically subhuman cattle to be exploited maximally and deserve nothing. All right. And then there are the social democratic rich who worry that if they go too far, that you'll come with torches and pitchforks and chop their heads off. Those are your Warren Buffetts and your Soroses and shit. There are different factions of capital's orientation toward workers. All right. And if you want the Warren Buffetts and you want the Soroses to give you Medicare for all and get scared, then you have to actually put a reasonable threat out there. That's the reality. If you want political change, if you want Norway, if you want Sweden, if you're a fucking lib and you think that's the best we can possibly do, in order to get that, you actually have to have a real left that is threatening to take power. And if there is no real left, you're not getting your fucking Sweden policies. Look at this fucking loser.
I know everyone feels terrible, but
Trump on the Virginia governor.
Cuts and they give tax increases. I don't know how they get elected. They get elected because they cheat. You want to know the truth? If they didn't cheat, they'd have no chance. They have horrible policy. Transgender for everyone. They have the little thing about open borders so that the world's prison population and mental hospitals can be emptied into our country. It's just a crazy men playing in women's sports. Roger, are you a fan of men playing in women's sports? Only as a bettor. You'd like to bet. You're not a big fan. I don't want to get him in trouble, but
by the way, chat, the way they all stand while he sits, there's not one set of balls in this room. Like, it's one thing for you to come into a room where somebody's already sitting and then them invite you to sit, but for you to stand there like you're a fucking, like, what are you? Are you being a waiter? Like, what's going on here? And we don't make the waiter sit there while you eat a meal. The waiter comes up to you, says, hey, what would you like? And goes and gets it and leaves. They don't stand there going like, like some sort of attendant. Like, these guys are literally, look at these fucking dopes. I have to tell you, chat, like, if you want to know where I am on the political spectrum right now, I am, let's imagine that the political spectrum is the visible light wave. I'm in fucking gamma rays right now. Okay? I'm gamma rays.
I think he joins in 99% of. They say it's an 80-20 issue. I think it's maybe 99. It's 99-1.
Mr. President, why are you saying this administration and the IRS? Why are you
cuts and they give tax increases? I don't know how they get elected. They get elected because they cheat. You want to know the truth?
Mr. President,
if they didn't cheat, they'd have no chance. They have horrible policy. Transgender for everyone. They have the little thing about open borders so that the world's prison population and mental hospitals can be emptied into our country. It's just a crazy. Men playing in women's sports. Roger, are you a fan of men playing in women's sports? Only as a bettor. You'd like to bet.
Basically what you're talking about.
That's Frank in the other room. You know what that is, right? That's a power play. Frank's trying to assert his dominance over me. It's a classic alpha move. Oh my God, it is? Yeah, no, don't sit. Oh, sorry. You see, by constantly chewing so loudly, he's sending a very clear message that he is the head cow. And as we all know, the head cow's always grazing. All cows female? That was a metaphor, okay? You know, Max, sometimes I'm just riffing. Would you allow me to riff? As the leader, can I riff? Can I riff? Yes. All right, so the point is...
Lib Media is already priming its base to give up? Fuck you. Best thing... By the way, this lady is a Trump supporter. She was doing the whole Chud Austin thing. Why is the Daily Show putting her on? Jon Stewart is such a fucking loser. God damn, what a fucking loser he is. God, he's such a fuck... People like Jon Stewart are brain dead. Honestly. So embarrassing, dude. What a fucking loser he is. You know, chat, I want you to take your energy and your anger and I want you to go and buy a fucking gun and use it. Learn how to use it. Practice at a range. Like, literally. That's what you need to do. Like, Jesus. Learn a skill. Learn how to weld. Learn how to pilot a drone. Learn how to... You know what I would really like? Is there anybody that knows how to make drones? That's what I want to know. Especially if you can make drones, you know, not just like buy one from off the shelf with so many of those parts that are like trackable, you know? Because if you buy a fully constructed drone, I'm sure they could track that from point of purchase, like all the way back. You know what I really want to get? I would love to get a CNC machine. Honestly, I wish I was in Pennsylvania right now, or Nevada than California. California fucking so many gun laws here. So annoying. Mike, please look at this from the new FC docs delivered today. Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. I'm not going to read it.
David, thank you so much for being on with us today. Obviously, sure. I love having you on whenever we need to dial in and talk about the legislative agenda, what the Democrats could do, like gamesmanship in the way that, you know, Republicans do on a regular basis. I feel like your outlet especially is one of the best at that. Whenever there is some legislative gamesmanship that could happen, I feel like you give out really good pointers on what the Democrats should be doing, but then they, of course, end up not following through and instead go to like the Center for American Progress or something, which is at this point basically regurgitating whatever, you know, third way neoliberal messaging groups are telling the Democrats to do, which is always to stand back and concede and show their bellies. I'm calling this segment legislative warfare. Thank you so much for coming on, David. Let's start very quickly. There is obviously a government shutdown that is imminent potentially, probably not going to happen. Democrats are threatening to shut down the government over DHS funding. Can you give us a little bit of details about this this first block that came through in the Senate, this massive funding bill with critical talks underway to avoid a government shutdown?
You know, going into this fight, we had a big shutdown in October, right? October 1st. It was 43 days long, longest government shutdown in American history. That ended in November, and they did.
Is it playing Hassan bannable for the next couple days? No, it's not. He can't come on my stream, but that's it. Did you see Hassan's last live stream on YouTube? 7 years ago.
Everybody, we're doing a special broadcast on YouTube of all places. What's going on? It's because it's Father's Day, and as everybody's proverbial favorite daddy, I decided to do a special broadcast here today.
I think it would be really funny if I just did a day where I spoke like Hassan and I acted like Hassan. Like, I should go through all of his like thirst traps and like try to copy the poses, copy the copy his fits, post those, go on here and be like, I'm doing a very special day as everyone's proverbial daddy. I just want people to see. I just want people to see the differences between what is considered as acceptable. I don't know if you could keep it up that long. That's a huge challenge. Okay, dude. One thing about me is that my shit is functional. And at my age, that's a fucking flex. Okay? My shit is functional. Now, I don't know if you guys looked into the Tecto transcript, and I honestly should go over it, but it is fucking funny, dude. And what's incredible about Tectone is I can't even say it, chat. I can't even say it. Let's just say this is why women prefer the left. Okay? Let's just put it that way. They call him a microtone now. 2 years, never once pleasuring a woman. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Not one time. Holy shit, that's crazy. And that's in court records now. That's in court records. And he admitted it too. It wasn't like something somebody else said. It's what he said. Not even once. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's absolutely crazy. Can you imagine? Like, first of all, women, are you okay? Here I was thinking, like, you better perform and you better care about your partner's pleasure or they're gonna dump your ass. Like, can you guys stand up for yourselves and start having some standards on men? Jesus Christ. 2 years? Are we talking about Tic Tac Tone? Okay, that's an insult to the Tic Tac. That is a venerable candy. We like Tic Tacs, okay? Don't insult Tic Tacs by comparing them to his penis. White pieces of shit like leftist Ryan Grimm and then Hassan Piker catches it straight. Anyway, one day Fuentes will learn that the enemy of normal working people is not to be found in any particular ethnicity or religion, but in the barons who control the world's wealth and use age-old resentments to pit people against each other so they can't unite and take on those barons. Until that day, he is only doing the bidding, knowingly or not, of the very people he thinks he's pitted against. It's a shame because he has talent and charisma, but has been fooled into thinking his problems will be solved by some race purity. He's not fooled. He's not fooled. It gratifies his ego. It gratifies his ego. And he also thinks right-wingers are stupid because they are. And he's manipulating them for his own power and wealth. He is a sociopath. He doesn't share the same emotions as you. And there's only one cure. When somebody has become an amoral sociopath at the level of Nick Fuentes, there is only one cure. Personally, I think the cure typically weighs 135 grams, or grains, excuse me, not grams, 135 grains. That's another imperial measurement, chat, a grain. Did you know that a grain is an imperial measurement of weight? And I think that for him, he needs an antipsychotic medication. And an antipsychotic medication of like 100 grains, or what would that be in milligrams, chat? I guess that would be like 1,100, right? That's a pretty big pill of antipsychotic medication. It's a pretty tough pill to swallow. But I am aware of one major fascist did swallow that pill, and it did cure his fascism. So I don't lose hope completely. Racial supremacy only ever benefits the very rich, not even everyone of that race. Go look at Mississippi in the 1850s. By some measures, it had more wealth than anywhere else in the world, Yet all but a few white people there lived miserable lives of abject poverty. Their only solace was that they weren't slaves and there was a class just below them. What kind of vision is that? Wake up, man. Ilhan Omar is not your problem. She's trying to liberate you. Well, he comes from, again, he's a fucking pick-me.
I am so sick of sharing a country with people that hate us.
Bro, you're not white. You're not white.
I get the same feeling when I see Mark Levin.
That's amazing.
I get the same feeling when I see Randy Fine and the rest of them, Roseanne Barr, as I do when I see Hassan Piker and Ilhan Omar. These people, they all hate us. Mark Levin goes up on stage and breathes fire about how much he hates anti-Semites and wants to destroy America first. So does Ilhan Omar. She gets up and she can barely conceal or veil her hatred of white people. And you got white piece of shit.
She's married to a white man. That's the thing that's the funniest part of this. Is it's like, I'm sorry, I regret to inform you, but Ilhan Omar is married to a white man. You know, like, what are you talking about? I regret to inform you of that not being the case. How is he not white, but Assad identifies as white, though? Dumb point to fix that on. Neither one of them are white. Neither one of them are white. Assad has been psyoped by the wokest fucking rad libs into calling himself white because occasionally he has experienced white privilege in Los Angeles, California, the most diverse place in the entire fucking country. But in no universe is Hassan Piker white. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like ridiculous. He's also a Muslim man. He gets Islamophobia constantly. He does not have white privilege at all, not even a little bit. Sometimes he can pass, which is certainly a privilege, but he's not white. And it's absurd that rad libs have psyoped him into saying that. And it's weird that I don't agree with it. I think he should go the opposite way and start, calling people racist that are liberal that attack him. I'm fucking white, okay? I'm fucking white. I'm half Bavarian, half Scottish, and my grandfather was Scottish with a Scottish accent. He came here from Scotland, okay? That's white, all right? Benjamin Franklin would have probably called me white, although he would have been sus that I'm half Bavarian. He would have been like, I don't know about you. Half Scot, half Bavarian, maybe. I would have been the Nick Fuentes to Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin would be like, your hair is pretty dark. You're a Catholic, you say? Maybe in Maryland they will let you be white. Not in Pennsylvania. English didn't think Scots or Irish were white. Incorrect. The Scots were actually the foot soldiers of British imperialism. Unfortunately true. So they were always considered white in America. I regret to inform you. Now, Irish is completely different. They were not. I regret to inform you that Scots were considered white. Now, you could say that Scotland was the first colony, and there's all sorts of cope that Scots do. But the reality is that Scottish people were the foot soldiers of the British Empire. And in fact, were some of the strongest units in favor that fought on behalf of the fucking British Empire, which is very unfortunate. After the Jacobite Revolution was suppressed, and Catholicism was rooted out in Scotland, Scotland became very, 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 very white. The Jacobite is what I said. Correct take, Mike. I know, because I actually know my history. Unlike everyone else who talks about shit online. Mike, which post-Balkanization group of U.S. states? I don't see the U.S. balkanizing, but anything's possible. I mean, here's the thing. In many ways, I feel like America is either on the precipice of revolution, and those of us who are on the left just don't see it yet, and we're going to be behind the curve, and we're going to have one of those Lenin in Switzerland moments where we go onto the streets and we try to grab control of what's going on, or our country's about to fall into a horrifying dark age. That's what it feels like to me. And if this country falls into a horrifying dark age, the world is going to fall into a horrifying dark age. In which case, Mike from Beijing will become true. Mike from Chongqing. Oh, thank you, Vio. Taiwan, that's Hassan. Hassan, it's Hassie from Hong Kong. Don't you dare call me Mike from Taiwan. That's just him coping and trying to steal my... He made me some nice over easy eggs, chat. Wow, they look great. Thank you. Perfect. Perfectly cooked over easy eggs. You love to see that. That's how I like them, chat. Why? What happened? What'd you do? Did you break or burn or melt or break or drop or lose? Oh no. There's no way. There's no way. No, dear. No. No, we can't go today. I don't like people telling POC who is white and it's not based on anything other than how you look. Yes, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird to go to other POC and be like, or non-POC people and go, oh, that person is white or that person isn't white. Very fucking weird that we do that, which is why I'm doing it for Hassan, and I'm telling you that. And if you don't like it, are you like, that's how whiteness works. White people decide who's white. That's how it works. And that's why it's bullshit to go around and try to attack Hassan as being white. And it's something people do to try to discredit his liberation politics. They're trying to get people to not listen to him because in some social circles, whiteness is socially disfavored. In some small contexts, being considered white can be a disadvantage. And they're trying to exploit that. They're not doing it from good faith for him to like, so that he can like not have blind spots and not practice anti-blackness, which everybody could do whether they're white or not, right? That's our culture, is an anti-black culture. So it's very important that we don't let liberals who support anti-black culture that we live in use our own academic language against us. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Silver is tanking hard. I told you it would tank. Did I not tell you it would tank hard earlier? And that, did I not say that earlier? That it was going to aim for $92? Oh, fuck. It's at 80. Oh, my God. Holy shit. They crashed it. They fucking crashed it. The other day, somebody asked me if they should buy silver, and I was like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't. Okay, this is actually over hard. You really hate making me over easy eggs. You do. You really do. All right. Okay, I'm still grateful. How's gold doing? It's down 9.11. Platinum is down 20%. Palladium is down 60%. Platinum is down 20% in one day. I've never seen moves like this ever in the history of precious metals. What is going on? Our entire system is fucking completely garbage. What the fuck is going on? Speculative silver trade unwinds. Spot gold and silver dropped 7 and 18% respectively. Well, retail traders have piled into trades tied to the precious metals. God damn, that's crazy. It is absolutely cratering. We're now at 80 since I clicked. LOL, retail holding the bag as usual. Yeah, of course. How's the US dollar doing? Well, the US dollar isn't tanking. It's actually going up, technically. So you can get 118 cents per euro. That's actually going down. So it's gone down a cent against the euro. So I would say it's kind of sideways, to be honest. The only currency that seems to be doing, yeah, I mean, the dollar is doing fine. Oil is pretty much, it's kind of flat. Nat gas is up 10%. Jesus Christ. What is going on with the markets? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. I didn't even see this natural gas crash where it went down 50 fucking % in one day. Volume of 6,000. The next day was volume of 212,000. What the fuck? This is just weird. Silver drops 30%. Gold tumbles as Trump's Fed chair pick eases central bank independence fear. Wow, this is weird, dude.
Basically a stopgap funding until January 30th. So tomorrow, that's when that funding runs out. And in the lead up to this, Democrats were pretty adamant that they were not going to let the government shut down. We're not doing the same thing we did last time. We're not going to let the government shut down. Even after the murder of Renee Good, the House passed basically all the outstanding government funding bills that needed to be passed. Hakeem Jeffries opposed the Department of Homeland Security appropriations bill, but didn't whip the vote. He didn't require unity from his caucus. And that bill passed with 7 Democrats supporting it. And that was the margin of victory. If 7 Democrats didn't support that, that bill would not.
Yeah, with all the absentees, right, and everything involved.
Right, given all the absentees,
but seats.
You know, even one absentee.
There were empty seats because a bunch of Republicans died.
Wouldn't have helped Republicans, and 2 others specifically voted against that bill and were public about it, said we're sitting this out. and another one was never there that entire day. He wasn't even in the city. So there would have needed to be serious arm twisting in order for that bill to pass.
Yeah.
But instead of requiring unity, Jeffries allowed that vote to go forward without whipping it. Everyone expected coming into, Saturday, a week ago.
Really quickly, sorry to cut you off, but would you say that there was whipping involved? Do you think that this was actually a moment of not incompetence necessarily, but actually competence? Because I'm beginning to I have this attitude where
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, because you got Marie Concentration Camp Perez, who was one of the spoilers, the Problem Solvers Caucus, right? Like these people who are a part of what we now know as the rotating villain, right? The rotating villain structure in the Democratic Party. And I do feel like it's not a matter of incompetence necessarily, but it's actually Hakeem Jeffries whipping the votes.
Technically, it's not that creative. Like, her name is Glustenkamp. It's not exactly the hardest thing to come up with. But I did come up with it first, I think. Maybe I didn't. This is very Redditor brain when you come in to make a joke and then you see that somebody else already made that exact joke like 5 hours ago and you're like, God damn it.
In favor of the Republican agenda. Do you think that that's an inadequate assessment?
I mean, whether he's doing it consciously or unconsciously, if he says, I'm not whipping the vote in the traditional sense that we know it, which is I'm not requiring unity on this vote, he's saying we kind of don't care if it passes. We're fine with it passing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be conspiratorial to say that if you're not whipping the vote, you're not requiring a certain unity on the vote, you're okay with it passing. And indeed, that's exactly what happened. So what happened was the House basically passed 6 different funding bills. It's a long, wonky story, but basically every year the government is funded through 12 funding bills. 6 have already passed. There's 6 outstanding. Those 6 got passed in the House last week, and they bundled them together into one vote, one bill, so that the Senate can easily pass through one vote the other 6 bills and let it go. And up until basically Saturday, a week ago, that was what was going to happen. That was seemingly the deal that was made. And then Alex Preddy was murdered. And Democrats realized it was sort of untenable, just impossible to agree to fund this agency that is shooting down people in the streets. And
people are saying she used to arrive by this bike to sell mids. This is an actual drug dealer. Can we deport her?
And Democrats, one by one, including Democrats that basically voted in the Senate to end the government shutdown last time, were saying, I can't vote to fund ICE. I can't vote to fund DHS. And so Democrats came up with a new strategy.
Blackness is not the only identity that is systemically oppressed, and I feel like that's a concept that regrettably you struggle with. In fact, regardless of your skin color, Americans are inherently privileged due to the simple fact that you are by right able to live in a first world bubble at the expense of countries like mine who are conditioned to stay shithole just so you can, thankfully, by the way, have the luxury of even being able to worry about things like in politics. I don't know if you have been to America or you really know what you're talking about. It sounds like you don't, because America is not a wealthy country. America is a wealthy country for some people. But if I take you around Los Angeles, California, it would not take me long to find places that are more impoverished than some developing countries are. Many Americans have material abundance that is so precarious because it's perched on a pile of unpayable debt. That's why the American life expectancy is much shorter than almost every other developed country. It's not because rich people in America don't live long. In fact, rich people in America live longer than rich people in other countries. You just don't understand America because honestly, if you're not from America and you've never been here, you don't understand how big America is as a country and how diverse it is and how poor America's poor actually are. You just don't know what you're talking about. Now, there are plenty of people that are people of color who are privileged. That is absolutely true. There are people that are well-to-do or middle class in America that are of marginalized identity. But the idea that someone is privileged just because they're in America is dumb. We have concentration camps. Oh, you're in an American concentration camp? How privileged of you. A quarter of this country doesn't have status or has a family with mixed status. And those are the people that are being targeted. We have millions of people in prison right now. I think it's something like 1 in 10 West Virginians are missing teeth. Oh, I'm sorry. 62% of West Virginians have lost at least one tooth. 32% have average complete tooth loss, the highest rate in the nation. God, those fucking privileged sons of bitches. Embarrassing.
And the strategy was, look, there are 6 bills.
Look at these privileged fucks. I hope they suffer. This is like the nice part of West Virginia. These people have houses. I think one of the reasons that people like target they just say the term American instead of actually targeting the international capitalist class that exists in every society, that exists in every country, is because they're liberal. And there absolutely are people that are in the working class or professionals that have wealth, that have, you know, high income by virtue of their national standing and being part of the West. And they are privileged. And if they fight in favor of capitalists, they're a class enemy. I have no problem with saying that. If somebody's upper middle class in America and they fight for the protection of capitalism, they are a privileged class enemy. I have no problem saying that. But when you're talking about millions of Americans rotting in prisons where they're slaves and then saying they're privileged, you're fucking insane. You're an insane person.
Bills, we'll vote for 5 of them, but for this DHS bill, you got to give us something else. We need other legislative standards in order to move forward with the DHS funding. And Republicans were in a weak position. This is obviously hugely unpopular that they're murdering people in the streets. Their own party was saying maybe Kristi Noem should go, or we have to do an investigation, or we have to, you know, do something to placate the voice of the public on this. And they actually agreed to split out DHS funding from the other 5 bills and say, we'll negotiate something on DHS and we'll pass the other 5 bills. And, you know, we'll kind of give you what you want, Democrats, because they wanted to negotiate. Well, about 20 minutes after that happened, yesterday, Chuck Schumer comes out and says, here are our negotiating terms. And they are much smaller. They had basically shrunken from what Democrats were talking about throughout the week. You know, Democrats had a long list of demands, and Schumer basically condensed them into 3 smaller demands. Now, they would do something, but it's probably much less than advertised. And so now we're in a position, right now they're arguing over, you know, how long is, they're going to do some stopgap funding for DHS. And the question is, how long is that going to last? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. But that'll happen. They'll pass the other 5 bills. There'll be a small government shutdown basically until Monday, until the House can take care of, you know, whatever the Senate does. Then there'll be this debate over what are we going to do about DHS. And Schumer basically pre-compromised his own position.
That's shocking. I'm shocked.
Right.
Wait, concede ahead of time?
Yeah.
That's part of the deal, right? When you have leverage or an upper hand in any sort of bargaining negotiation, you come to the table pre-cocked, preloaded with concessions, and then you don't even get those preloaded concessions at the end of the day. And
you get
just
a
fucking
smaller
roll over.
version of that.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what I think a lot of us have been saying for years and years and years is what you really have to do is maximize your asks. Know that you're probably going to get less than what you asked for.
Yeah.
So what you end up getting is much bigger than if you sort of try to tailor your ask to here's exactly what I think Republicans are going to agree to, and then we'll get a little bit less than that. It's just,
and be unafraid to also lean into public sentiment, because there is broad public sentiment on this at a time when poll after poll is showing that the plurality of American voters actually want ICE abolition. The fact that there have been so many third-way neoliberal
recuperation of progressive beliefs into liberal politics is a problem, though. AOC isn't going to save us, but the public thinks she's a commissar or something. The Bolsheviks seized power from the Mensheviks. I don't know what more to say. Like, I think you're actually just historically illiterate. It's just, if you want revolution, you need to have soft-headed social democrats in power that will hesitate to suppress you. Even if you were a Marxist-Leninist, vanguardist revolutionary, you want to pick an enemy that's going to hesitate to squash you. The New Left lost because it was recuperated under the Democratic Party. The New Left lost because of material conditions destroyed unions. and the unions were purged of ideological leaders due to the Red Scare and Taft-Hartley. And so working class power was shifted away from material working class connections to an academic nerd fucking bullshit like you. It was taken to the universities and tamed and turned into academic learning as opposed to actual physical material praxis. And then the Arab oil embargo and high inflation smashed American labor and brought in an interest in neoliberal reforms, which de-radicalized and classed our politics. Like, that's what actually happened. It isn't because people went into Democrats. That's anti-material, by the way. God, you guys are fucking such liberals. I hate when the amount of liberals that just think they're leftist is fucking crazy. It's probably my biggest brain damaging, like the thing that's causing me the most neuron loss is the amount of liberals who think they're some sort of radical. They don't know fucking anything. For the love of God, please read a book. And the reason why I support AOC is because it causes more people to identify with the label of socialist, which then means other socialist arguments they will listen to because they identify as a socialist. And that's how human brains work. Once you identify as a socialist, you start being open to other people who say, hey, I'm a socialist too. And then you can radicalize people further. That's the only reason I support AOC. Because of that reality. When people see socialism as viable, the entire category of socialism becomes open to them. And even if you are a fully trained and radicalized socialist yourself, your kind of argument isn't going to be appealing to people if they don't already self-identify as open to it. It's like, can you try studying how human brains work in a material way? Can you try studying history a little bit before you like say dumbass shit like, oh yeah, if AOC won on an anti-Israel, anti-Zionist platform in favor of like improving the power of unions and increasing people's ability to organize into unions, that's actually going to hurt the left, guys. That's going to hurt the left. You know what's going to help the left? ICE getting $175 billion. That's helping the left. That's going to help the left.
Pollsters and messaging groups that are circulating to Politico and many other outlets and circulating memos to all the establishment Democrats saying that like people want a reasonable approach to ICE. They just want reasonable, moderate resolutions here over and over again. The reason why they're doing that is so that they are trying to tell us, the masses that are angry, that are protesting in the streets, you're not going to get what you want. And here is why. Here is why you should be ready for defeat here.
Totally.
But you
Let's
already
talk
mentioned
about one of those memos, by the way. Really quick, because we did a story on this at prospect.org. One of those memos came out from the Searchlight Institute, which is
John
one
Fetterman.
of these centrist organizations. Fetterman's former chief of staff is running that. Yeah, and I'm Adam Gentleson. But he had this guy, I believe his name is Blas Nunez Neto, write this very influential memo to Capitol Hill saying, yeah, we don't want to abolish ICE, we just want to reform ICE. Well, what we found out is that guy works for a corporate lobbying firm, like a shadow lobbying firm for companies that have immigration contracts. So of course he doesn't want to abolish ICE because his paymasters literally, give him money so that he can maximize their contractual arrangements. So that's what that's all about.
Reminds me of another Democrat appointment. You might have heard of him. His name is Tom Homan, who after his stint in the Obama administration and the Trump administration, he turned around and made a lot of money, apparently, farming out private prison contracts to these immigration detention facilities. And if I recall correctly, very good guy. He's a very good deal maker. I think Tim Walz and Jacob Fry both said that, he's better than Bovino, I guess.
Honest
he got a fat $50K bag from the FBI, too. He's such a wheeler and dealer. He's such a good deal maker. And
important to understand, chat, that abolishing ICE is directly a strike against Capitol. Abolishing ICE would make it easier for us to organize. It would make it easier to radicalize people because I don't know if you know this, ICE is targeting organizers. Did you catch this Larry Krasner statement?
This is a small of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
No, Mike, you don't understand. It would be better if the district attorney of Philadelphia was a fucking Nazi right-wing Zionist, corporate Democrat that was happy to cooperate with Trump. That would be better. See, that would be better for the left.
Small of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are.
That would be better, guys. You're doing reformism right now. Now, the thing is, I could tell someone is not very intelligent if they say reform or revolution as if there is an either or. I understand that they have unfortunately, they have a small brain and it may be terminal. And they are processes that exist at the same time. It isn't some sort of like spectrum where you click this button or this button. You have people trying to argue for reform, which creates political activity, that creates discourse, which creates class consciousness through organizing and the application to a certain context. And then you have the frustration of reform, which leads to the growth of revolutionary activity because people see that the system, the predictions of Marx that we live and the descriptions of capitalism of Marx, they see that applying in their everyday life. They see how the system is rigged. They see how they cannot achieve reforms. Reforms are frustrated through extrajudicial means, through coercive means, and that helps people to buy into the idea of revolution more. It is not an either or. They're both necessary. Now, a lot of Maoists and ultra-leftists are very unhappy when you say that history is a process and that history goes through various stages of development and it's unpredictable and sometimes we can skip over things and rush ahead and sometimes we can't. They hate that. They call that stagism or whatever. They think you could just push the communism button. If we don't have communism right now, it's because we're not pushing the communism button hard enough.
The kind of fundamental change that socialists and communists and Marxists and anarchists of many stripes have endorsed for a long time. So the question is, are you a reformist or are you a revolutionary? That issue has divided people terribly. The people who are impatient and want to make a revolution don't want to be sidetracked by all these little things. They see that the basic problem is the system. On the other hand, people have a hard time getting their head around the notion, change a system. The system is very complicated. The system has many parts. You don't know quite where to start. Not everybody sees the system the same way. A particular reform is kind of more definable and focused. So it becomes a practical question and not just a theoretical one. The resolution most have come to, not all, not by a long shot, but the resolution most have come to is that this debate is more abstract than helpful. In other words, the left movements for socialism have always ended up doing both things to varying degrees. If the conditions allow you to make a frontal attack on the system, you go for it. But if the conditions don't allow you, you don't just throw in the towel and, well, we can't make a revolution, so what, we could go to the beach? No, you go and you start pushing on those things that people will work with you, where you can get masses of people, and you hope, Marx's idea and the idea of many Marxists since, you hope that the struggles for reform become schools in which those who get caught up in the struggle learn in a very concrete way why the reform isn't enough. You struggle real hard and you have a minimum wage. And then you have one. And then how much has changed? Okay.
The important thing, and I want to point something out. When you have that minimum wage, your life gets better than it was before the minimum wage. The only thing that's happened is your life is now relatively better than it was before. And you also recognize that you can win by fighting and organizing. And then you realize it isn't enough and you want more. That's the process that I'm talking about.
And then you discover also that if it's capitalism and you get a reform and you don't change the system, you discover pretty quick that capitalism fights you to prevent you from getting the reform. And if they lose and you get the reform, they don't stop fighting. They try to take it away. And because you've left them in a position of power, They own the enterprises. They grab the wealth. You leave them with the very means to undo the reforms you will have struggled so hard to win. So that the idea, the hope is that the struggle for the reform produces the revolutionary, who recognizes after a while that the revolution is the only way to make those reforms stick, to make them permanent, to not work so hard to get something and then see it all undone. In the 1930s, the United States got the New Deal. In the 50 years since then, it was taken back. Most of it's gone. You can't live on Social Security. The whole idea of Social Security was you could live on it. You can't possibly. I mean, there may be some people in the room that are doing it, but they're consuming a lot of cat food. You can't. You can't. The minimum wage has been abused. When was the last time they raised it? 1997 or something like that. I mean, it's just disgusting. The inflation erodes it all the time. They don't keep it up. It's just,
Reform
they can take it away.
Anti-revolutionary. Are you okay? Do you need me to write it down for you? Did you not hear what he just said? Do you need me to write it down for you? What people do is they see the left didn't win in one straight upward arc, and therefore they say, oh, well, trying to win anything is a waste of time. We should just push the revolution button. Push it then, bitch! Why aren't you pushing it? Push the button! Why are you asking me to push it? Why are you asking AOC to push it? Push the fucking button! Why do you need me to push it? Who's speaking now? This is Professor Richard Wolff.
You don't change
one of the few actual Marxist professors that exists. You know how every Republican is like every professor at college is a Marxist. He's one of the few that actually exist.
System you create it. It's like having a war, and at the end of country A defeats country B. What does country A do? Does it leave in the hands of country B all the tanks, all the bullets, all the guns? Don't do that. Those people are mad that they lost. They're going to use that and fight another day. So you better do some more so that doesn't happen. Disarm them or something. Reformers discover that if they don't change the system, look, that's America. In the 1930s, capitalism tottered. The people who confronted capitalism in the 1930s, the communists, the socialists, and the unions, they talked about revolution, and they meant it. Remember, the communists, that was only a few years after what happened in Russia. They had a concrete example of what they could have done, and they thought about doing that here. But Roosevelt was a very clever leader, and he came back to them, and he said, you know what, I'm going to give you a lot of the things you want, the reforms you're demanding. But the condition is, I don't want to hear about revolution anymore. You got to stop that talk. That's got to stop. You got to turn on those communists and socialists in your rank and stop talking about.
I don't think that's fair. That's not really true about FDR. I mean, there was some of that. That's not really true about FDR. It's very true about Truman and the Democratic Party in general, especially after FDR's death. That's part of why Stalin got caught slow-footed, because he thought that he was going to be able to have a mutual coexistence with America after World War II. Because Stalin had spent so much time with FDR and they got along so well, the Soviets thought that after World War II, there would be mutual coexistence. And then after FDR died, Truman enacted basically, I would call it Nazi, anti-communist into positions of power.
About it.
I disagree with that.
They agreed. There were always a few who didn't, but the bulk of the communists and socialists agreed. Roosevelt was good for his word. He gave them Social Security, he gave them unemployment, he gave them a minimum wage, and he gave them 15 million government jobs. It was amazing what he did. They got the reforms. They didn't get the revolution. Who knows if they could have, but they didn't. They didn't make that effort. And here we are, 70 years later, discovering that 2/3 of what they got in the 1930s, they've lost. That's why the revolutionary cry today is another New Deal, a green one. I'm in favor of it. I love AOC, all of that.
Okay, here, let me just say this. I agree with Professor Wolff completely, by the way. I completely agree with him. It is a problem. See, the problem is, of course, that winning begets winning. And what happened with FDR, you had an event called World War II. And the human race was on the verge of falling to fascism. So there was a bit of what we call a popular front against fascism. And that distracted us. And then it created the militarization necessary to contain socialism. And the reason that's been the problem is the United States of America militarized and copied a lot of the Gestapo's methods to do anti-communism. So we have to dismantle that if we're going to be able to push forward with socialism.
I do. You have to face what this is. So the reform and revolution, I think Marx would have been one of those to say, you fight for what can be moved forward for the mass of the working people, because it's never just what you're fighting for. It's the process of the fighting that teaches many lessons. The benefits of organization, the benefits of unity of different groups, the tactics and strategy needed to overcome all of our differences so that we can act in a solidary way. All of those lessons.
Solidaridistic is how you say that, Professor Wolf. Solidaridistic. It's very hard to say, I know, but it's not solidarity way, it's solidaridistic.
Are profound, and they can be learned even if the thing you're struggling for isn't what
I got to correct someone's pronunciation, chat.
Wish it would be. The trick of good.
U.S. telling allies to prepare for war on Iran. Trump is considering strikes on senior Iranian leaders with the aim of spurring the overthrow of the Iranian government. This isn't about nukes or the missile program. This is about regime change. He told DropSite that U.S. war planners envision attacks that target nuclear, ballistic, and other military sites around Iran, with the aim to decapitate the Iranian government. The thinking in the Trump administration, according to the source, is that a successful strike on Iranian leadership would be followed by Iranians returning to the streets to protest, leading to the overthrow of the government. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is hoping for an attack and assuring Trump that Israel can help put in place a new government that is friendly with the West. Regional countries have been engaged in attempts to establish a format for back-channel talks, including a trilateral meeting involving Iranian, American, and Turkish leaders aimed at forestalling an expected attack. Hassan gets banned, and we're going to go to war in Iran. Hassan is never allowed to fucking not stream again. Every time Hassan cannot stream, we have some horrifying world event. And it's fucking killing me. Somebody needs to walk around with a camera pointed at this man right now. He's going to stream on YouTube. Nice. Okay, maybe it'll be delayed. Saudi Arabia on Tuesday ruled out the use of its airspace for a potential U.S. attack on Iran in a phone call between Saudi Crown Prince bin Salman and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, according to Saudi state agency SPA. The UAE said on Monday it would not allow its airspace or territorial waters to be used in any military action against Iran. Comments on Friday at the Oval Office where he said that U.S. has a large armada, flotilla, call it whatever you want, heading towards Iran right now while declining to confirm whether Iran had received a deadline to conclude an agreement to avoid a war. If such a calculation is made by the Americans, it will certainly not unfold the way the U.S. President Trump imagines, carrying out a quick operation and then 2 hours later tweeting that the operation is over. The scope of the war will certainly extend across the entire region, he added. From the Zionist regime to countries that host American military bases, all will be within the range of our missiles and drones. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do it before, quite frankly. Iranian officials have repeatedly said that if the U.S. attacks Iran, particularly if it aims to assassinate the country's leadership, that it will respond with unprecedented counterstrikes against U.S. military facilities, oil infrastructure in the region, and Israel. In the past, a high number of high-ranking military officials made the decision to inform the United States when they were attacking U.S. bases. The idea was basically trying to ride out the Trump administration, not to confront him in a serious manner, respond to him, but respond in a very limited style, so they did start a huge war with the United States. This was their decision, and they were killed in June. Izdadi said that the new leadership of the military in Iran has determined that the previous policy failed to deter U.S. and Israeli aggression. The number I hear is the goal is to get 500 American soldiers. The casualties that they need to have if Iran is attacked again is at least 500, Izzati said. I think the Iranian government, the Iranian military, has decided to respond quite harshly this time around because you cannot have a country when that country is threatened to be attacked militarily every other week. Remember when people thought that Trump would be the peace candidate? You guys remember that?
You know, these guys are directly making money off of this. Like, they're making money off of tying government contracts to like these for-profit prison systems that work for the immigration detention facilities.
This organization I was talking about is called West Exec. This shadow lobbying firm was founded by Tony Blinken. So I'm sure you would appreciate
of course.
That aspect of it. But anyway, yeah. So let's talk about what Schumer actually asked for here and why it's different than what we could do to rein in ICE and CBP, Customs and Border Patrol. He had 3 asks, Schumer did. One was, I want to end roving patrols and tighten up administrative warrants, tighten up these warrants that are only signed by Border Patrol when they want to go into somebody's house. So he wants to limit enforcement actions to sort of known targets and use local law enforcement in conjunction.
Which is what they were asking for. There's JD Vance. JD Vance, Trump administration. Like, Democrats have this unimaginable, this incredible tendency to take something that their opposition wants and then turn it around and make it seem as though this is a point
we'll give them that.
This is like they're making it seem like they have this is an oppositional thing that they're forcing ICE to do, including down to even the usage of body cameras, which is not an unpopular position at all amongst law enforcement at this point, even though it's presented as an oppositional thing. These guys are already using their cameras, right? Like Renee Good's assassin.
Renee, he was like using his phone. He was filming the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So that's the second ask, which is they call it masks off, body cameras on, saying that no mask.
Masks off, body cams on. Like, what universe are we in? What universe are we in that's going to happen? They're not even arresting the guys who murdered people in cold blood. They're not even being prosecuted. Why are they asking? They're acting like these guys are being prosecuted. They're not being prosecuted. They're not doing anything. So what? Everybody knows who they are when they do it? Like, that's going to stop shit. They're already mask off.
Have to show ID.
I realized I'm gender fluid today. Nice. You know, my personal take on gender is it is a performance that we're all doing, and you have to decide what makes you happy, and you should do that. And for me, I just don't like thinking about it, so I just keep doing what I'm doing. The Kyle vid on Hassan. Okay, let's watch this.
And what they're doing here is they're cheapening a great day today. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. So we have this horrible story about how an independent journalist by the name of Georgia Ford was just taken into custody in Minneapolis, and her crime was having filmed the church protest of the pastor who doubles as an ICE agent, an ICE supervisor, in fact.
All right, when does he talk about Hassan, chat? When does he talk about Hassan?
The message of Jesus, and it's the pastor. This is just him doing his job. This is him being a journalist. Over this, magistrate judges. And they both said, I'm not going to allow you to arrest Don Lemon over this. This is not a crime. Cheeks. My ass cheeks. Not even close. Is Matt Taibbi writing a 4,000-word essay defending Don Lemon right now in his constitutional that Homeland Security is using to track protesters, both anti-ICE protesters, stress this enough, that is factually true. He said something that is accurate. They love taking away people's rights. I need you to understand this. They were literally all liars on the right. Everybody on the right who made it seem like their number one thing was free speech, was a fucking lie.
We are dangerously close to another hype train. And we're at 9501, chat. Can we hit 10,000 subs this month?
None of them give a shit about the Constitution. Now they love fascism. They love authoritarianism. They love taking away people's rights as long as they're liberals or leftists. That's the fact of the matter. Now, by the way, we also have this. This is a big deal. But Twitch decided to ban Hassan Piker for a week because Hassan Piker said something, and I can't stress this enough, that is factually true. He said something that is accurate.
Biddy, for your thoughts. Thank you so much. You guys are the best.
And he's getting banned for it. So, according to Popstanox, the Twitter...
By the way, according to Postanox, that's the point. They are banning you for telling the truth about Israel. They're banning you for telling the truth about the pro-Zionist lobby in America. And most of the people that are Zionists are not Jewish. So who the fuck are you supposedly slurring? America is primarily Christian Zionists from the Deep South, Republican Party, evangelicals. who believe anti-Semitically that if all the Jews return to Israel, it'll cause Armageddon. That's what they're trying. They're trying to make their prophecy true by taking Jews and moving them to Israel and then having a nuclear fucking war. Unironically. Optimus Grime, thank you for the 5. You guys are the best.
Twitter account. Twitch has banned streamer Hassan Piker for his comments on ICE tracking Alex Preddy. Quote, this is what Hassan said. 2 senior national security officials tell me there are more than a dozen secret watch lists that Homeland Security is using to track protesters, both anti-ICE protesters and pro-Palestinian protesters. Hassan continues, this is another big suck my dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there, you fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. You run around going, why are you tying this back to Palestine? Because this is precisely the same shit, you Israel first monsters. So what he's saying there is, everybody
Sorry
was getting...
to say this, but your country is owned by Israel. What country are you in? I'm just curious. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm just curious. What country are you in? Greece. You are a puppet of the United States. And you know that. I mean, what we did to you in the Greek financial crisis, the U.S. did that to you. You are a puppet of the United States. Therefore, you are also a puppet of Israel. I mean, fuck, we interfered. I mean, the Greek Civil War, we supported the fascist collaborators and defeated the socialists. Israel uses Greece as an Air Force base. Yeah, of course, they fly over Greece all the time. Do you think Hassan's stream on YouTube today will be actually bigger than his normal stream on Twitch? No. Unfortunately, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. And the reason why is because a lot of people rely on alerts, right? Like, look at my stream. When I go live, how many people are here? 1,000, maybe, max, 800? And then it's over the course of hours that people come in. Then I end up at 5,000. And that's because I'm consistently live every single day at the right time. And so if you want to watch political coverage, you know, oh, Mike goes live at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and he stays live to at least 11:30, 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So if I want to watch political coverage, I need to go over to Mike's channel. I have a Discord where I ping 11,000 people every time I go live. So him having, he usually has his 40,000 people here. So you would have to beat 40,000. That might happen. But, YouTube does also have very, very much more sloppy viewership requirements. If he breaks 20K, I consider that to be a huge W. If he breaks 20K on his stream on YouTube, I consider that a huge W. If he breaks 30K, he's cooking. If he breaks 40K, that would be insane. Mike, I figured out how to get my Nazi racist father to shut the fuck on Facebook. I just bully him until he deletes his post. Thanks for the inspo. Correct. That's the only way to go. That's literally the only way to go. Not like actually bully, but like confront. People saying that Israel owns the USA are missing the point severely. USA Israel is one entity, and arguably even the capitalist class of every Western and Western aligned nation acts as one entity. That's the actual correct answer. The correct answer is it is a capitalist dictatorship that stretches over the West. The West is the place where the capitalist dictatorship is in control. All right? And that's it. That's why if you want to move to Japan or you want to move to any Western country, all you have to do is be rich. It's called investor visa. Like borders don't exist if you're rich. Investor visa, United States. Investor visa, United Kingdom. The tier 1 investor visa. Investor visa, France. The business investor or golden visa provides a 4-year renewable residence permit for non-EU citizens investing at least 300,000 euros in fixed tangible intangible assets. Investor visa, Germany. Investor visa, Japan. They have you have to have $200,000. Investor visa. Those are supposedly hard to immigrate to. South Korea, 220,000. Investor visa, Italy. Ruled by an anti-immigrant fascist. 2-year renewable visa permit for non-EU citizens who invest in. So, in other words, all this border shit, that's for the poors. Mike, you're wrong. Check how many people are waiting. That's pretty good. As I said before, if he breaks 20K, I would consider that to be a huge W. A huge W. Investor visa, Canada. But 75,000? That's it? Damn, I can afford to go to Canada. That's so funny because you can't afford a house on that. Wait, what the fuck? That's so little. That's so little. Canada is so cheap. The funny thing is that the nature of capitalism makes it so capitalists will try to undermine each other for a leg up. A lot of European capitalists are being caught with their pants down because American capitalists are blowing things up for their own benefit. Yes, exactly. There is international bourgeoisie and there's national bourgeoisie. Like the Russian bourgeoisie, they used to be part of the world bourgeoisie. They were the oligarchs of Russia were being invited in. They were allowed to buy up property at all these places and send their kids around. And a lot of the Chinese bourgeoisie were being invited around and things like that. And they were secretly moving money offshore, and they bought up a lot of property in Canada and the United States because they're capitalists and they're trying to integrate themselves with the international bourgeoisie. The problem is the Communist Party of China is clamping down, and that's why that's why all these countries are suddenly going anti-China, because they're scared. The capitalists are scared. They're like, oh fuck, the communists were wait, Xi's actually a socialist. Oh fuck, oh shit, we thought he was corrupt. We thought he was corrupt like everybody else. That's why they hate China now, because he's arresting the corrupt people. He's making their military actually capable of defending China from the United States. They hate that. He's clamping down on the capitalists and making sure they can't just move their money out of the country. That's why they hate it. Now that they're like, oh, fuck, Russia, Putin broke the rules by being a spoil sport. The European capitalists were able to coup fucking Ukraine and get their hands on the Ukrainian booty. And Russian capitalists got butthurt because Ukraine was supposed to be their territory to exploit. So Russia invaded Ukraine. So the national capitalists of Russia were all butthurt that they lost Ukraine, and so they tried to use the Russian state to get it back. And that's caused a rupture between the Russian capitalists and the European capitalists. And the American capitalists are taking advantage of it to assert their supremacy. That's reality. That's reality. And I think a lot of people are not comfortable thinking like that.
Mad at him for connecting the anti-ICE protests to Israel. Everybody who was getting mad at him for connecting ICE to the IDF. Because of some new Ken Klippenstein reporting, they have been proven factually wrong, and Hassan was proven factually right. There is a link on these issues. And in fact, the Department of Homeland Security is using lists of pro-Palestinian protesters that they have in their databases, illegally, by the way. They're using those lists to also go after the ICE protesters because it's mostly the same fucking people out there. It's the same people out there. And so he's pissed at this.
I assume you saw the CIA assessment of Xi. Yeah, I read it on stream. Mike, I've been looking to get more involved with DSA, but I'm at large until August because I'm moving around a lot. I plan to join a caucus. I'm looking at Mug and Red Star. What are your thoughts of the two caucuses? Depending upon my mood, I go from anywhere from Reform and Revolution or Mug all the way to Groundwork. I go all around. The problem is it depends on the situation, because a lot of them, like, I don't know about Mug. Mug is probably not it for me because they seem like they're more ultra. They seem ultra flavored to me. All the caucuses, if I'm being completely honest with you, seem kind of annoying, and none of them seem like they're really hitting to me. And I don't like the caucus model because it's causing people to become sclerotic in their thinking. And what we need right now is pragmatism. We need flexibility. And we need to stop asserting that we have the model and then try to stay consistent with our quote model. We need to be doing persistent experimentation. But so many people want to pretend like they have the right answer to up their fucking credibility. And instead of, they're not comfortable with the uncertainty of action and then evaluation. That's what I want to do. I want to take action and I want to objectively evaluate and not have my ego be fucking wrapped up into whether or not one specific idea failed or not. And that's why that's why the caucus model, I'm not a fan, because it's like you have a bunch of people that are now identifying with a certain tactic. And it's like, no, why are you identifying with a tactic? A tactic is a tactic. It's like, can you imagine being a general and going, I am not going to do a flanking attack because flanking attacks are liberal. What? It's a tactic. Sometimes you do flanking attacks. Sometimes you do frontal assault. Sometimes you fucking drop the paratroopers on their head. And so that's my kind of problem with it, is it's like I look at it and it strikes me as like not effective. Our biggest thing in Mug is making DSA act as a party and ensuring we do real democratic centralism. It's not so much about strategy besides getting DSA where it should be. There are some things that I agree with. Like, I want to do democratic centralism. The problem with that is, again, as I said before, and this is a problem that communism encountered, is I now identify with my identity around a specific idea or strategy or policy. And now you're not a real communist or you're not a real socialist unless you agree with this specific policy set. And it's like, that's not what we need right now. Like, the old conversations were about revisionism. Okay, the revisionist, you're a revisionist because you had the command economy Soviet Union model, right? And if you were like, well, maybe we should do some sort of market model, or maybe we should have some sort of mixed model, or maybe we should have state cap, you know, they would be like, oh, you're doing revisionism. And they would reject the idea based on their perception of whether or not it aligns with their identity as a Marxist, as opposed to taking action and evaluating outcome. I'm very much more a pragmatist in this way, in the sense of, I think there's way too much surety and not enough humility in socialism in particular. A lot of people act like they know what they're doing and know what the right answer is, and it's completely obnoxious and blows my fucking mind. The arrogance is insane. And I don't know if it is like a fucking, if they're putting it on as a rhetorical trick or they actually believe it and they're delusional. And so this is kind of my problem with the caucuses in general. Nobody knows who's right. And in order for people to feel persuasive, they have to act like they know all the answers. And it's like, no, you fucking don't. And that's what alienates me from it, is it's because it's like, let's say, for example, running Zohran Mamdani turns out to be a mistake. Does that mean that you should never run anyone again in electoral politics? If your answer is yes, you're stupid. And this is kind of the problem, is what if Zohran Mamdani turns out to be a success? Does that mean running as like a Democrat in the primary is always the right answer? No. Does that mean we're going to election ourselves to socialism? Even if he's a real big success and is very popular? No. And that's kind of the problem, is I don't see that kind of contingent, like people are not able to do a contingent thought. They're not able to, as I said before, separate tactics from ideology. They're trying to commingle the two, and that leads to stupid, in my opinion.
And he's calling out all the fucking Zionist hacks.
Wait. What? Is this real? Is this real? Or am I getting, are you just posting something that I want to see? Is this real? I've never heard of this website before. 65 billionaire dies during penis enlargement surgery. Belgian Israeli diamond dealer Ehud Ari Lanado died during the procedure in 2019 at the Saint Horn Ponthieu Clinic in Paris. He was been having injections in his penis to make it appear larger. His surgeon was given a 12-month suspended sentence. So an Israeli diamond dealer died? All right, so a lot of people don't know this. I do talk about it from time to time on my stream. But one of Israel's biggest exports are cut diamonds, and they come from blood diamonds from Africa. So there's a lot of Israeli mercenaries and diamond dealers that go around and enslave children. In fact, they're so evil that Biden actually sanctioned one of them. Biden sanctions Israeli billionaire because they were making us look bad. They were making us look bad in Africa because the Belt and Road Initiative was happening, and a lot of African countries were kind of aligning more toward China, and Biden was getting nervous. So they were like, okay, we're going to sanction these Israeli mining magnates. The United States on Monday revoked the sanctions waiver for Israeli mining magnate Dan Gertler that was issued on in the last days of the Trump administration. The Treasury Department said exempting Gertler was from sanction was inconsistent with America's strong foreign policy interest in combating corruption around the world, specifically in the DRC. The Treasury imposed the sanctions in December 2017 and 2018, accusing Gertler of using his friendship with Democratic Republic of Congo's former president, Joseph Kabila, to win sweetheart mining deals worth more than $1 billion. Now, do you understand that I wasn't lying? Do you understand that these DRC mines are full of child slaves, and Israel directly launders those diamonds and tries to pretend that they're ethical diamonds because they're from Israel? Can I not see? There you go. See, Israel's exported products, diamonds, 8.62 billion. There are 0 diamond mines in Israel. They all come from the slave mines. Did you cover this today? Thought chat should know. I'll admit it. I did a Max Pro NCR run in New Vegas. Okay. I am going to explain why this is the correct way to play New Vegas. First of all, you get to kill libertarians and fascists. You get to kill NCR's fucking Elon Musk, and you get to kill fascists. The second thing is, you're a fucking courier. You're gonna rule as a dictator? Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. That's ridiculous. You're just gonna replace Elon and be Elon yourself? Shut the fuck up. Pro NCR run is correct. Independent Vegas is dumb anarchist bullshit. I mean, it's the only choice. The only choice is to ally everybody to NCR and absolutely smash the fash. That's the only choice. That's really the only choice to do Vegas. Every other choice sucks. What's happening with the camera? What the fuck? Why is the camera doing this? Unlock me. This stupid fucking camera. It decided to start looking around the room. Looks like the Yes Man is the canon ending according to the TV show. And everything sucks ass. And everything fucking sucks ass. Holy shit, Hassan hit 20K? Hell yeah. All right, let's keep going.
And he said about them, I'll read it one more time. This is another big suck my dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there. You fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. And so Twitch looks at that and they say, whoa, 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 whoa. We accept the ADL definition of anti-Semitism, which means you're allowed to use Zionist if you mean it in a positive sense. But if you say Zionist and you mean it in a negative sense, you're gonna get banned. You're gonna get banned. In fact, we consider that anti-Semitic. If you're anti-Zionist, you are anti-Semitic, which frankly is a disgusting war on the actual concept of anti-Semitism because it cheapens anti-Semitism. Because it is the correct position to be anti-Zionist and it is the incorrect position to be anti-Jewish. Okay? Do you understand that? Do you understand that point? Zionism, by its very nature, is a fucking ethno-state. Why is it everybody understands this and sees that ethno-states are bad when it comes to any other ethno-state? Anybody looks at apartheid South Africa, they see it as a white ethno-state and they go, that's bad, that's unacceptable, I'm against that. But we're supposed to make one fucking exception for ethno-states and everybody needs to shut the fuck up and accept it? So sorry, you need to put your preference for secular democracy aside. You need to put your preference for equal rights aside when it comes to this one specific state. And in this one specific state, you have to be okay with Zionism. You have to be okay with Jewish supremacy. You have to be okay with all non-Jews living in Israel being second-class citizens or third-class citizens and not having the same rights. Well, fuck that. Fuck that. It is the correct position to be anti-Zionist. And it's the correct position to be pro-Jewish. Okay? It's that simple. And what they're doing here is they're cheapening anti-Semitism and they're trying to ban him on some got ya bullshit. That's what this is.
Why'd you time out the Chinese text? What'd they say? Did they say a bad thing? They said you are not Mike from Beijing. Oh, okay, you can time them out. Okay, you can time them out for spreading misinformation. You can time them out for spreading misinformation. That's fine. Hello, I learned about you from Billy. Welcome in. Yeah, I need to, there's a guy who wants to help me with Billy shit. I gotta do work, but I don't want to, chat. I'm doing too many things. I don't want to do more things. I want to be lazy. I don't want to do more things. Vio is a great degenerate. Her new favorite Pokemon is called Clit Fairy? What's going on with Nintendo? What the hell's going on with Nintendo? Clit Fairy? Huh? Those are Pokemoots? Please get on Billy. Getting a lot of manosphere dog shit. Dog, please. Oh, God, really? Ugh. My fan base is going to be 50% Chinese nationalists and 50% white people trying to learn Chinese.
Some stupid fucking gotcha bullshit because he used Zionism as a pejorative. But it is. Zionist just is a pejorative. It's a fact. Fucking get over it. Get over it. We just watched the Zionist state commit a fucking genocide in 4K in the name of that ideology, and now you're not allowed to say that as a negative. Like, shut the fuck up. So anyway, free Hassan. I actually texted Hassan and said, you should just leave Twitch. Like, fuck Twitch for putting you through this. Even if they reverse the ban right now, they already put you through 24 hours of fucking unimaginable strife for some bullshit. Now you gotta, look over your shoulder and make sure you're not free speeching too hard and telling the truth too hard every time you do a stream? Fuck that. You should leave them, go on YouTube. YouTube's policies are generally better when it comes to free speech anyway. And look, Twitch will regret it. They will regret it because, you know, on any given day, he could be the #1 streamer. Hassan could be the #1 streamer on Twitch. Horrible stuff there. Free Hassan. Fuck Dan Clancy, the CEO. Everybody reach out to tweet at Twitch and at Twitch support and put as much pressure as you can on them because this is fucking unconscionable, man. And by the way, I also forgot to mention this point. This is a doozy. I have to point this out. Fucking Asmongold, another Twitch streamer. This motherfucker's been, like, threatening Ilhan Omar, calling for fucking pogroms on Twitter on Twitch all the time. Like, the shit he says, he casually says genocidal shit about Palestinians. So he could say the most unhinged, pro-violent shit imaginable. And that's totally fine. Totally unacceptable. No problem whatsoever. But Hassan uses Zionist in the negative connotation that it should be used, and he gets banned for a week. No, the double standard is fucking ridiculous. So you can go as far right and exterminationist and eliminationist as you want, and that's fine. But Hassan tells the truth, and he gets banned for that. Nah, fuck these people, man. Fuck these people. Okay.
The thing that Kyle doesn't understand is that Twitch, even with its dumbass bans, is far more tolerant of anti-Israel rhetoric and content than every other platform that is currently mainstream at this time. And that's the reality. So YouTube hates fucking anti-Israel content. But they censor people more subtly. I'd rather them do bans like this because it makes it obvious who's doing it, as opposed to fucking with algos.
Let's continue here. So Trump has a new grift, and he decided he's going to sue the IRS for $10 billion.
Like, I couldn't agree with Kyle more. It's complete and utter dog shit and total horseshit. And it pisses me off beyond belief that this is the way this is the situation we have to live under. This is the conditions we have to live in. 33K viewers? Holy fuck. Holy.
But it's freaking Friday.
Fuck. 33,000 viewers started 10 minutes ago? The thing about, oh wait, he's using my he's using my playlist now? I swear to God, you guys are fucking Mufasing now. There are so many Mike from PA heads who watch me and then go and put shit into Hassan's chat. There's Mike from PA, and they don't say, hey, Mike sent this, you should check it out. No, they try to take credit for it. If you're gonna use my shit, say, oh, Mike talked about this. You better give me fucking credit, I swear to God, or I'll ban you. You won't be able to see my shit anymore, and you won't be able to get attention from Hassan anymore because your own posts suck. If you're gonna steal my shit, give me credit. That way you could get your attention that you don't deserve. Now, I don't think I could watch him being live, chat. I think that might actually break the rules. All right, today, chat. All right, chat. Today,
activists are pushing national shutdown to protest the presence of federal agents in Minnesota. The ICE Out campaign calls for no school, no work, and no shopping. The Trump administration claims it's working to improve arrest tactics, but people in Minneapolis say law enforcement remains aggressive. CBS News obtained a letter from Democrats on the Senate Homeland Security Committee. You see it here. It tells Secretary Kristi Noem to testify without delay. Noem insisted on Fox News last night that she is following the law. She was also asked if the statements officials gave in the hours after the shooting of Alex Preddy were premature. Here's her response.
We were being relayed information from on the ground from CBP agents and officers that were there. We were using the best information we had at the time, seeking to be transparent with the American people and get them what we knew to be true on the ground.
And we should note, at President Trump's cabinet meeting yesterday, he did not mention or call on Noem to speak. And that is unusual because the president did call on most other department heads. CBS News' Jared Hill brings us the latest now on the unrest unfolding in Minneapolis. Jared, good morning. What's happening there?
Yeah, good morning, Earl. So we have this new border czar, Tom Homan, who is on the ground in Minneapolis. And we're hearing a bit of a new refrain from him, using words like targeted enforcement, targeted operations, as Homan repeated as he offered a shift in tone on the ground in Minneapolis. Local officials say that they are talking, but cautious about the future. After weeks of violent clashes between protesters and federal agents and deadly shootings of 2 U.S. citizens, President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is promising a change in Minneapolis.
What we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient.
Am I going out today? Probably.
By the book.
Homan, brought on as the White House works to de-escalate, said some of the 3,000 agents currently deployed could be drawn down. That's if federal authorities get expanded access to undocumented immigrants being held in state prisons and county jails.
More agents in the jail. Less agents in the street.
Want to stream today?
Minnesota's Department of Corrections says prisons already cooperate with ICE detainer requests, but policies at local jails, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office in a statement said any real change, quote, must come through clear statewide policy direction.
Well, a couple of the things we're working on as an association are a couple of statewide model policies that we would be rolling out.
Amid talk of a drawdown, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey cautiously optimistic.
I will believe it when I see it.
The threats of deportation and fear of detention have significantly impacted some neighborhoods. Members of this church say they've been delivering food to thousands of immigrant families who say they're afraid to leave their homes.
They are literally hiding behind curtains.
As the region continues to mourn the killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, local investigators say the state has not decided whether to file criminal charges against the officers involved. Overnight on social media, President Trump called Alex Preddy a, quote, agitator and perhaps insurrectionist after video showing the nurse in a confrontation with federal immigration officers 11 days before he was killed in another encounter with agents. Meanwhile, the heads of ICE, CBP, and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services are all set to testify on Capitol Hill on February 12th.
All right, Jared, thank you.
They also arrested Don Lemon.
We have breaking news for you. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested late last night on federal charges tied to a protest earlier this month at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Lemon says he was reporting as a...
I usually will...
Holy shit! The motherfucker is at 23,000 live viewers? Chat, maybe we should do the dual streams. Maybe today is the day we start the dual streams. I gotta figure out how to not get banned by YouTube, because they constantly, like, if you watch YouTube videos, they like knock you down or some shit. I wonder how the Roach's view bots will work today. Holy shit! Holy shit! Asmund Gold at 37K and Hassan at 75K? All right, how do you... Okay, is there a place... Like, what's the front page of YouTube streaming? Someone explain to me YouTube streaming. I guess he just... Like, it just pops up on people's recommended, right? 84K watching. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, my God. So where do you go? The live? You click live? And then I guess it's just people that you've watched before? Oh, my God. There's an H3 show going on. Holy fucking hell, dude. He's at 92K, just updated again. I gotta do another screenshot. Wait, where did it go? Yeah, there it is. Holy shit, this is like... There it is. What the fuck? Wait, where's Hassan? The fuck? He's at 95K. Okay, chat. What we need to do... I remember when I said 20K was a win? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, the only reason I haven't done the YouTube streaming is because if there isn't a bunch of left-wingers on the platform, then what's the fucking point? But now that Hassan is doing it, it becomes interesting. It becomes like, oh, fuck, maybe we should go on here. Hassan at, I have him at 97. Has he broken 100 yet? Vosh live title, I'm #1 again. Imagine watching Vosh. Not only is he fucking stupid, which is the reason why I don't watch him, he's also a pedophile. Like, if you needed another reason not to watch him, not just from him being dumb as fuck. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. 92,000 watching. 92,000 watching. Where's H3? 17K watching. I think this is a better screenshot. The one that I have is a better screenshot. So let's just go with that. Okay, I don't want to... I'm just going to say you force him on his platform to compete directly with you. This is fun because if you... What are the secrets, chat? What are the secrets to having a good time? Get a screenshot not at 88K. Bro, this is a great screenshot. Stop being so fucking... weird about that. 88,000 is not owned by Nazis. Just like, calm the fuck down, okay? Like, can you just be normal? Can you be fucking normal? LOL compete, he's got almost 6x the viewers. Well, if that's how you feel, perhaps you should go to the post and like it, comment, and reply to it, and laugh at Ethan Klein and AB. The chat's fast. I'm so excited, man. I think that the Zionists are accidentally going to make Hassan more ambitious. The Zionists have accidentally made him more ambitious again. Are you looking at the top chat or the live chat? I'm just looking at live. Where do I actually go? Where do I click? Live like that? Don Lemon arrested. I mean, the big streamers are not very big, huh? Tim the Tatman, 8K. 8K watching Tim the Catman. Is he in the news category? Like, what category is he even in? Is he in the right category? I don't see him in any of these categories. Mike, I love Hassan more than next guy, but those views are definitely botted. I'm not saying Hassan is doing it, but YouTube views are always wrong. Back when I used to watch H3, it did the same thing all the time. Bro, that's not botting. He's got 2 billion viewers and he's banned off Twitch. Got 2 billion subscribers and he's banned off Twitch. Where he has another 2 or 3 million view. What is he at on Twitch? 3 million? So being banned and it being trending on the fucking multiple platforms, while also having 3 million subscribe followers on 3 million followers, which is, by the way, an all-time high. Chat, I want you to look at this. I want you to look at Hassan's curve. Notice how it had a slight period where there was a bend. That was when we were right on Israel before everybody caught up. And everybody was calling him anti-Semitic. And you know what he did? He stood on the right issue. And then when people started to realize he was right, look at how it's back up to climbing again. 450 million hours watched. He's at 94,000 right now. It's not botted. It's reality. Fascists got crazy numbers after too. Both socialists and fascists are rising as contradictions heighten. Well, of course. But it makes sense. And like, I think Twitch fucking with Hassan was the worst mistake they ever could have made. Because if Hassan could get these kind of numbers on YouTube, why the fuck wouldn't he stream on YouTube? They had Hassan exclusively streaming on their site. And as usual, they didn't know what they had. He's at 100K. You, Hassan, and myself are making reality change and started okay, listen. We don't want to become grandiose narcissists, okay? We're not becoming grandiose narcissists. We obviously appreciate all the support that we can get. Oh my God, he's done it. Oh my God, he's done it. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my God. He's broken it. Broke 100K. 27 minutes in. That's insane. That's insane. I thought if he got 20K, that's good. Holy shit. Holy shit. Bad day for the girly pops. You know, chat, obviously we're in a desperate situation and the fascists are at the gates and they're going to try to seize power and the Democrats are trying to help them. But if we can make it out the other side. If you go in incognito vote to YouTube live page, their #1 channel they're promoting is the L3 podcast. They have 1/6 Hassan's viewers. Oh, there's no way they're going to promote Hassan. They're even more Zionist infiltrated as far as the terms of service than even Twitch. Silver is down to 85, gold down to 49. But even then, that's still crazy high. And it's 4,900 even? What the fuck? That's so weird. Remember when that chatter asked me if I should sell? And I said, and another chatter was like, no, don't sell. And I said, listen, you should definitely rebalance your portfolio. If you want to let some run, you should rebalance your portfolio. Remember what not that that's financial advice. God, Hassan is constantly whining and whining and whining. Such a disingenuous and unpleasant person. You know, one of my favorite things about guys like yourself is that you can't ever make an argument that's not just total bullshit. Like you come into my chat, you want to make an argument, but you can't make it anything that's real. That's you. You came into my chat to whine based on absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You don't have a point. Honestly, like, and I mean this completely, there are certain ways of being that if I was in that space, I would probably travel to Switzerland and, you know, make that ultimate decision, the ultimate dignity decision. And I think being a hater of someone and being too dim to understand what the fuck they're even talking about is one of those situations. What point? Are you going to make a point, you fucking pussy bygano? You going to make a point? Got an old account, so we're definitely going to find out about you. He's a full stack developer, chat. No clips, no posts, 0 followers. Come on, man. Not one person thought you said anything cool and wanted to follow you. That's crazy. You've been here since 2019. You've been chatting in chats for 7 years and not one time did a person say, I don't need a point. I've seen so much of Hassan. I liked him. Are you incapable of writing a complete sentence? Did you struggle? I don't need a point, but I've seen so much. Like, imagine you're in front of thousands and thousands of people and you're given the floor to make your propaganda point and you fucking choke. Pathetic. I can't believe you get fooled by propaganda and then you come and show it to everybody that you're dim. God, that's embarrassing, man.
Journalist when demonstrators interrupted a service to protest immigration enforcement. A magistrate judge previously rejected the case against him, but prosecutors later sought and obtained his arrest. Lemon was taken into custody in Los Angeles and is scheduled to appear in federal court this morning. His lawyer, Abby Lowell, calls the prosecution an unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. We have Lisa Rubin here, Molly John Fax joining us. But Jonathan Lemire, can we go through a little more what happened in St. Paul, in the church, so then Lisa can break down these charges and how it all matches up?
Yeah, we'll lean on her legal expertise in just a moment. But Don Lemon is now an independent journalist, no longer at CNN. He was in Minnesota covering the protests following the 2 shooting deaths there, Vernay Good and then Alex Pretty. This one on January 18th in St. Paul, so just over the river from Minneapolis, protesters went inside a church. They were disruptive to this service. We'll get to Lisa in a moment as to why that would be a charge here. But and Don Lemon, to remind viewers, is, you know, someone who Donald Trump has criticized repeatedly in the past. Lemon has been pretty tough on Trump. He has called him names. He frequently calls him a liar. Lemon is someone that Trump has gone after on Truth Social and the like for many years. He's always been an object of some ridicule in the MAGA movement. But what is so important here is this is what matters, is that Lemon, and we will see if it is the truth, but Lemon says he was acting as a journalist. He was not participating in the protest. He was covering the protest.
That was my question.
And if that is the case, if that's the case, that is indeed a chilling moment here for a journalist in the United States of America doing his job as a journalist and being charged for it. That is not.
Did he conduct interviews inside the? I mean, I know the protest was happening, and so he followed the protest in to cover the story. At any point, did he take part in?
Yeah, we'll see if we have footage here, but he did. He interviewed some of the protesters. He interviewed some of the parishioners. He interviewed. I think he tried to talk to the minister at one point.
Right.
You know, which was perhaps disruptive in that moment. But again, he's acting as a journalist. And Lisa, let's talk about what charge is being levied here and your opinion as to why this is so important.
Let's talk about what we don't know. We know that Don Lemon is still in federal custody right now as we speak. But my understanding is no charges have been filed and unsealed. Don Lemon and his legal team don't even know when he'll make his initial appearance at a Los Angeles federal court this morning. That having been said, Jonathan, based on the criminal complaint and affidavit that were filed when authorities tried to get initial charges against Don Lemon to stick, I can tell you that it appears that the federal government is pursuing.
Chat. God damn it. Sorry about that. I said I'm going to call it here. Super exciting. Honestly, let's try to push Hassad as high as we can go. Let's do a manual raid over to Hassad. I don't even think we'll be noticed. He's at 115K. Manual raid. Full send. All right, everybody. Stay safe. Solidarity forever, my friends. Today's Friday, by the way. Before we go, we are watching the movie No Other Choice in the Discord. If you need someone you want something to do tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we have movie nights. So we're doing that tonight. And if you're going to be in LA, downtown, I'll see you there. Come up and say hi. All right, everybody. Stay safe. Solidarity forever. I'll see you soon. Socialism will win. And thank you for all the support, Open Presence, and all the other great supporters, Marks and me. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon. Peace out.